First Lady in federal court. Lisa Brady, Fox News. She's attending the start of jury selection for Hunter Biden's trial on a federal gun charge. His wife and sister sitting alongside the First Lady at the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware.
Hunter faces 3 felony charges, accused of lying on an ATF firearm purchase form about his drug use at that time. Prosecutors have entered into evidence excerpts from Hunter's own book in which he talks about his drug use in 2018. The judge is not allowing one version of a firearm form into evidence that Hunter's attorney says someone at the gun store helped Hunter fill out. Prosecutors are expected to call Hunter's ex-wife to testify, as well as his late brother's widow, Hallie, with whom Hunter had a romantic relationship.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. President Biden issued a written statement earlier expressing boundless love for his son and saying he won't comment on a pending federal case. Familiar territory on Capitol Hill for Dr. Anthony Fauci, defending decisions made during the COVID pandemic and again denying any cover-up of a lab leak origin theory.
I cannot account, nor can anyone account, for other things that might be going on in China, which is the reason why I have always said and will say now, I keep an open mind as to what the origin is.
Also emphasizing the CDC made recommendations on guidelines, including social distancing. Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene holding up a picture of Fauci in a nearly empty ballpark.
You got to go and enjoy the game and sit right next to people, not following the 6 feet of distancing, not wearing your mask, and everyone else was forced to stay home and stop enjoying life.
She says he should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. California Congressman Robert Garcia.
So sorry that you are subjected to those level of attacks and insanity.
Among the Democrats thanking Fauci for his science, saying it helped save lives around the world. America's listening to Fox News.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Our goal at NeoVitan is to make supporting your nutrition as easy as possible. That's why we created the NeoVitan monthly subscription. Just go to neovitan.com, choose your multivitamin, sign up, and we will do the rest. You'll receive your NeoVitan multivitamin every month with no long-term obligation. You can pause or cancel at any time, and shipping is free. Each NeoVitan multivitamin includes our physician-formulated proprietary blend for nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Start supporting your nutrition the easy way with NeoVitan multivitamins. Sign up for a NeoVitan subscription today at neovitan.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Unlike the Trump case, this one actually seems pretty much open and shut. Hunter clearly lied to obtain this gun. By the way, I'm relieved at least one Democrat believes in the Second Amendment. That's very nice. So I'm glad that Hunter joined the party on that one. But he clearly lied. Hallie was a part of it. He's had, of course, a long history of drug use, which is well known. It's why he got why he had to leave the military. And the weapon did end up in a dumpster, and it appears pretty clear that Hallie was involved with that. So this should be an open and shut case.
You need to take the popcorn bucket that you had sitting on your right from last week, set that aside, now pick up the popcorn bucket that's sitting on your left, because it's Hunter Biden's chance to go on trial. And I'm going to ask Gregg Jarrett about this 20 minutes from now or so when he joins us. Of course, the Fox News legal analyst, expert Gregg Jarrett. I've heard several people suggest that especially the form, filling out the form to get the gun where Hunter Biden lied and said that he was clean. Brad, tell me if you have heard this. I think I heard that there was actual cocaine residue on the handle of the gun.
No, I haven't heard that. Okay. I just know that it ended up in a dumpster.
I'll check my facts. I mean, maybe the cocaine came from the dumpster.
It's possible.
That's a possibility. What Hunter Biden, what they've alleged him to do, like, I can identify what the crime is here. You can't lie on a government form to obtain a firearm, get the firearm and possess it. That is a crime. But I'm going to say in addition to that, this is not something that is traditionally prosecuted the way that they are throwing it at Hunter Biden. I suspect that Hunter Biden is the crux of trying to get Joe Biden out of the race. That's what I think. I've said this before. I said this before it was like we were in the middle of it. I don't know, Brad, maybe it was like 2 years ago. I wish I had the specific date when I explained that they would go to Joe Biden and say, Joe Biden, we appreciate your service. You're no longer useful to us. We need you to step down. And then they look at the boss and Jill says, no. And Jill says, you're going to stay in there. You're going to keep running to be the president. We want to stay here. We've got work to do. First lady things to do. And Joe and Jill decide, no, we're not going to leave. You can't make me leave. And then they say, okay, we'll throw the book at Hunter Biden. And if you want us to not go all in on Hunter Biden, it's just very bizarre to me to remember the sweetheart deal that Hunter Biden got. And then it was like, nah, never mind. Forget that.
It's over. Yeah, no, we're going after him hardcore now.
It's almost like Iowa. Everybody's running to be the Democratic nominee. They're slapping each other around, calling each other racist. And they're like, want to be my VP? It's just a really strange about face. It's almost as if there are things happening in the background, which there are always things happening in the background. There's probably slap fighting happening right now in the Republican side over who's going to be VP, the merits of what that VP candidate would bring to the ticket, so on and so forth. But Joe Biden was DOA in the Democrat Party. And then they were like, you know who we should unite behind? Joe Biden. What? Doesn't make any sense. I don't think they want Joe Biden to be the candidate. I think they want him to step down. I think Joe Biden has people making decisions for him, which is wild because he's the president of the United States. Anyway, Hunter Biden is his trial. The jury selection starts today. Will it be as interesting and crazy as the Donald Trump trial? Probably not, but interesting enough that this is actually being prosecuted. When we look at what the Biden Department of Justice is willing to do on one hand to Donald Trump in an array of different jurisdictions, switch over, and you know what? They're taking it to Hunter Biden, too. If the Department of Justice was so unfair and so biased, would they be prosecuting Hunter Biden? Yeah, I actually think that they would. I got to ask Gregg Jarrett this if you don't know, Brad, but those are federal forms.
Yes.
So this is a federal crime.
Yes.
Which could be pardoned by the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. Unlike the hamstrung felony that Donald Trump was accused and found guilty of, which is a state crime, which means that Joe Biden, as the president of the United States, can't pardon him for that, nor could Donald Trump should he become the president of the United States after November and being sworn in January. You got to ask Governor Hochul for that pardon. They can go all in on Hunter in California. I think it's California. You can go, or no, it's Delaware. This one is in Delaware.
This one's Delaware. The other one, the taxes are California, right?
Gosh, these people, we pick all kinds to get into our highest, all these families and the what they're willing to do and probably have in many cases gotten away with. But not this time. What is the Hunter Biden trial going to expose? The opportunity certainly exists for it to be as salacious as the one that Donald Trump just endured in Manhattan, because a parade of women that Hunter Biden has been involved with are going to be present at this trial, testifying at this trial. What comes out of it? We will wait and see. I'm looking forward to Gregg Jarrett setting the tone and the table for us for that. Here's Hakeem Jeffries on the Hunter trial.
President Biden commented as a loving father, as I would hope any loving father would do. Hunter Biden, of course, is entitled, as was Donald Trump, to the presumption of innocence and to a trial by a jury of his peers. And this Justice Department is going to proceed in that fashion, present the facts and the law, and then we'll all have to wait for a determination that is made by a jury as to Hunter Biden's guilt or innocence.
So Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House of Representatives, speaking on behalf of great support for the President of the United States, who is also, as we are all regularly reminded, a very loving father and super relatable uncle and neighbor and transporter, somebody who rides trains and drives trucks and race cars next to his classified document. I mean, I just like my uncle. My uncle's going, hey,
leave me out of this.
What did I do to you? Edward, listener, says, no one on my side, he's a Dem, which is fine. We love Edward. He's there regularly. On our YouTube chat says, no one on my side cares what happens to Hunter Biden, and no one will say it was rigged if he's guilty, just FYI. Well, Edward, that's because he's obviously guilty. and Hunter is the son of the president. He isn't the president. Donald Trump is a former president. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who could look me in the eyes from the left and say Donald Trump got exactly what he deserved. I could definitely and have talked to people who aren't sad that Donald Trump was found guilty. But they could not, in genuine honesty, look at me and say, this is absolute justice. And if this wouldn't have been done, it would have been an injustice. That's not, no rational person thinks that. What we do all understand together in perfect bipartisan harmony is that it's politics. And half of us think it's good politics. Half of us think it's bad politics, like country-ending kind of politics, where when you can't beat your primary opponent in an upcoming election, you try to put them in jail. We look down our nose at countries who do that. We shame countries who do that. We are a country that does that. That's the way it is right now. And people know that. I said this Friday. I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it until I never get blue in the face. I might get red in the face. The idea that you are angry about 34 guilty counts is important, but it's only useful if you can apply it in an effective way to, in your small way, just like my small way, try to affect something that moves this country in a positive direction. We went a whole weekend without the right losing, without Republicans losing in a big way on Friday. And some of you are saying, Annie, the Republicans didn't lose on Friday. The country lost on Friday. Well, yeah, that's because the Republicans are the pro-country side. We are pro-American. We want to make America great again, which is an acknowledgement that America was and is an idea that is great. It does not take long to look and pivot to the other side. And I am talking about the people who are driving the Democrat Party. I'm not talking to everyone who ascribes themselves to the Democrat Party, because a lot of you are scratching your heads going, those Republicans, they're not for me. I'm not that. Not going to be a Trumper. But if I looked deep into my soul and my heart of hearts, I would understand that the way the Democrat Party is representing Americans today is not relatable either. If you wanted to make America great again, that is an admission and a statement that America was, in fact, great. Rewind the tape, 16 years or so, to when you had a president who won a resounding presidency by saying that not only is America currently in need of a great shift in direction that we are going, the basic fundamentals, the foundation of our country needs to be transformed. I mean, this isn't complicated. I'm not having to convince you that they believe something. I'm not interpreting something that was said in my own super right-leaning, crazy, right-wing lunatic, which is probably some of the ways that people would describe me if they're not so much on my side of the aisle. This is not some deep dive into trying to read the minds of people. No, they said they wanted to fundamentally transform the United States of America. If you want to fundamentally transform something, that means you go to the root. You go to the footings. You go to the foundation of what that is, and you say it needs to change. Which part? What fundamentals? Which part do we not need to do again? And I think that there's a lot of social justice that creeps in here. The idea that if you believe that we were fundamentally built on the idea of slavery and a disparate relationship between races, don't forget that in the process of a country that was built and has become economically prosperous because of slavery, that we decided to kill each other to stop it. Does that not count? Is that not part of the fundamental basics of who we are as a country? That there's not some high-level, top-tier, heritage-based ruler that says, no, this is what's good for the country and this is what we're going to do, and we, like loyal subjects, go, yes, Your Highness. What is the fundamental basis of our country that needs to be transformed? And I think that we're seeing it. And I think that the problem that Republicans have is they thought it was a political statement. Oh, let's just change, 8 years of George W. Bush. We need to do something different. We need Democrats, and Democrats are going to come in because they're for the little people. Everybody needs to have health care. Everybody needs to have full education from the time they come out of the womb. Oh, that's if we let them come out of the womb. Well, we'll take them out of the womb, just whether they come out whole or piece by piece. This is what the Democrats believe, of course. The idea that you can provide everybody everything that not only you prescribe that they need, but the things that they demand that they want, like higher education. You should be able to have that. We can give that to you. Well, we'll loan you the money, but we'll make them pay for it later. Oh, and if you get a degree and you get a job for it, you're going to pay for it too then, but it'll be like a secret. The fundamental basics that this country were founded upon was the idea that you do not have to sit and wait for the government to tell you what you can have. And that the sky is the limit because the government will be limited by a constitution that we've assembled that protects us from them. It doesn't protect Republicans from Democrats in office. It doesn't protect Democrats from Republicans in office. It protects all people from any type of politician that goes to the capital city, gets power hungry and swallowed up by the swamp, making backroom deals to make sure that as long as we give the money out to everybody, as long as all of the pet projects are funded, they'll keep us here. They'll keep us in power. There's the fundamental basic that has been infringed upon in our capital city by our federal governments, by the people who we've sent to Washington, D.C. to represent us. It's a faux representation. And now the people who are in there, who are so deeply rooted in there for half a century, ascending all the way to the top, to the presidency, they can't let go of the power. They can't leave it to the American people who do reign supreme, hand in hand with the Constitution of the United States in this country, which is what makes us great. They cannot allow the American people to make the wrong decision, so they won't let you. So they take the person who threatens the existence, the stability of that continuation of bureaucratic power in Washington, D.C., and they say, that guy needs to go over there, on the sidelines, out of the mix. And they know the game. You know they know the game because they impeached Donald Trump for having a phone call with Zelensky because the organizations, the Justice Department, the investigative departments were looking into what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were doing at that time. And we know this because the Democrats in the House said that the only reason that Donald Trump had this phone call with Zelensky was to dig up dirt on his primary political opponent. And we were all going, Joe Biden is the primary political opponent? He's a senile old man, and there are like a dozen people who are challenging him for that job. How could you possibly deem Joe Biden to be the primary? Oh, everybody quit? Joe Biden's the guy? That's strange. It's all right there in front of you. If you want to make America great again, you have to acknowledge that America was great. And every time I look at the left, they're telling us how terrible we are. They're telling us how terrible you are. That everything you've known as an American, every time you've seen the American flag flapping in the wind with some sort of patriotic surroundings, music, fireworks, and for whatever reason, you, who, if you are like me, have never served a day in battle, I've never donned a uniform knowing that I could be sent to die for my country, signed up for that. I've never done that. I know that there are people who have. I know that there are people who did. I know that there are going to be people who will. And for whatever reason, you know what that's like. You see that flag and you get emotional. You get choked up. Because you know what it means. And it's not something that's just cerebral. It's in your heart. It's how you feel. It's what you know. And the only way to break that, not a thought in your head that could see a different fact and maybe alternate a bit your position on a specific boring policy issue like tax reform or something that involves charts and graphs and numbers. That's all cerebral. The only thing that can grab your heart and harness your soul and transform that visceral emotion that you can't even explain. When you get emotional because you hear America the Beautiful or God Bless America or the national anthem, is to fundamentally transform the thing that made us that way. I'm the granddaughter of the greatest generation, somebody who served in the Army, a captain in the Army, who fought in World War II. I knew that man. He talked to me about it. I'm connected to it. But one more generation apart from me, those kids don't know that. It's not real to them. It's a story. It's a story that they believe. It's a story that they have faith in. But every generation that we depart from the understanding and the preservation of what makes our country great, it's influenceable. And the people who hate America know that. And that's what they're after, which is why this is more serious than it's ever been in my lifetime, and maybe in yours. What's it worth to you? Is it worth the opportunity to knock on some doors? Is it worth the opportunity to call your county party head and say, I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I'd be good at, but I'm interested in making a difference. Is it worth that? I don't think we have any other choice. It's not just a hat. It's not just a T-shirt. It's not just a slogan to say that we need to make America great again. They told us what they were going to do when they said they wanted to fundamentally transform this country. It goes to the root, the heart of this country. And that emotion that overflows the facts that you understand about this country, where we've been, what we have chosen to overcome as a country, all of it. They've gone after it. And if we don't act, they will win. What are you going to do about it? Feel the emotion, but apply the emotion and do it in a way that is constructive and useful. Republicans feel like they lost big on Friday. We didn't burn our cities down. We love our country too much to do that. Imagine if you hated the country, how you would react with that emotion. We've seen it. You don't even have to imagine it. You can look up the pictures and the videos of the peaceful protest. Well, it's mostly peaceful protests that were taking place during that time. We already know. You know what to do. Get on Facebook and find your party on Facebook. County Republicans on Facebook. Call them. Email them. Message them. Do something. Gregg, Jarrett, when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. Have you reached out to them yet to get the tune-up for your AC? As we are moving into summer and the temperatures get warmer, make sure that the comfortable temperature in your home stays steady, stays the same. Air Comfort Service can help you do that. And you might as well sign up or at least consider their monthly maintenance plan. This is a wonderful idea for you to make sure that you don't have to even think about the idea that they're going to, need to come in and check and make sure everything is in good working order. If something is off, they can make an adjustment, clean something off or whatever, and not have to go, oh, crap, should have done this 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and you didn't. They think those thoughts for you, and they take care of that for you. Air Comfort Service is there to make sure that you are always in your comfort zone. This is also an incredible service for people who might be taking care of or looking after elderly that are still living in their home. Set them up for this maintenance plan. It's $19 a month, as little as $19 a month. You'll have that peace of mind for that extreme heat to make sure that they are always in their comfort zone in their home. You can call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boonslick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boonslick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Diamonds Direct has done it again. This month only, get ready for an offer you can't resist. Buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right, a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet will not last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
June 27th, Donald Trump debates Joe Biden, and you can only hear it here on 97.1 FM Talk. But you're also invited to the party. We'll all be at Dave & Buster's, so join us June 27th for the debate and visit 971talk.com/events.
Unlike the Trump case, this one actually seems pretty much open and shut. Hunter clearly lied to obtain this gun. By the way, I'm relieved at least one Democrat believes in the Second Amendment. That's very nice. So I'm glad that Hunter joined the party on that one. But he clearly lied. Hallie was a part of it. He's had, of course, a long history of drug use, which is well known. It's why he got why he had to leave the military. And the weapon did end up in a dumpster, and it appears pretty clear that Hallie was involved with that. So this should be an open and shut case.
Yeah, we've moved our Trump verdict out of the way for a minute. And now we're talking about Hunter Biden jury selection and we wanted to go straight to our friend Gregg Jarrett to get the bottom of what is taking place in this federal gun crime charge against Hunter Biden. He's a Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and his latest book, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents, which probably needs to be read now more than ever. Gregg Jarrett, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Annie, thanks very much for having me back on. Yeah, this case in Delaware against Hunter Biden would normally be an absolute slam dunk. You could probably do it in a couple of days. But, Delaware is where the name Biden is sacrosanct. So, who knows what kind of a jury you're going to get here. The best witness against Hunter Biden is Hunter Biden. He wrote a book explaining in detail how he was a drug addict at the exact time that he bought a gun and allegedly lied about being a drug addict. So he incriminated himself. And, of course, it was completely stupid to cash in peddling a book about your addiction when you know you're under criminal investigation for an addiction crime. But, there's also other evidence. There's cocaine residue on the gun holder. Prosecutors have 3 women with whom he was romantically involved, prepared to say, he was totally addicted to drugs when he bought the gun. And finally, there are photographs. To show you how dumb this guy is, takes photographs of himself, which are time-stamped, doing drugs 4 days before he buys a gun. And not only that, 2 days before he buys a gun, he's text messaging with a drug dealer to score more drugs. So, I don't know if he's supremely arrogant or terminally stupid, but he's probably both.
I was going to say, I think both can apply in a situation like this. Gregg, when I'm thinking about the crime that is alleged here that he's being charged with, there's 2 thoughts that are in my mind right now. One, based on what I hear a lot of people saying, is this isn't a charge that would probably be brought in a lot of other cases, but in this one, for whatever reason, Hunter Biden is being charged with it. But the second thing is all the Democrats, the politicians that I hear saying, I know that, let's see here, Jamie Raskin was talking about how this that Republicans would be up in arms if this would be brought against a conservative. It's not lost on me that here you have a gun law regulation that's put in place that didn't stop somebody from breaking the law so that they could have a gun while they were doing cocaine. Like, more gun regulation? Is it really having the effective outcome that the politicians would like it to have?
Well, and it's Democrats and Jamie Raskin who have long argued that, there ought to be tighter and stricter gun control laws to prevent people who shouldn't have guns from getting guns. Joe Biden himself has railed against the Second Amendment on the same basis. And yet his own son in court filings tried to get the case tossed by saying, the Second Amendment protects me and other drug addicts. That didn't work because the prevailing federal law, case law, says it doesn't work. Hunter's main defense is almost laughable. It's a comedy. He says, I couldn't have knowingly lied because I was in denial about my addiction because I was an addict. And his backup defense is that he was so strung out, he didn't have the requisite intent to break the law or lie. Now, that doesn't work because being drug-addled is never a defense to any criminality. People have tried to do it, and, the judge always says, sorry, that's not a defense under the law.
Yeah.
So, this is a case that should be so easy to convict, but in a venue like Delaware, where the Bidens are revered, this could be a case of jury nullification. They nullify the law, the facts, the evidence, and they say, we're not going to convict.
I was speaking with Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst. I'll give you the opportunity to compare. I'm sure like many, many other people were watching your reaction last week while we were leading up to the verdict. And then, of course, when we got the verdict, and it feels like lawfare, and it feels like the way you can jury shop. Of course, Joe Biden not in trouble for his classified documents because there's no way that they could get a successful prosecution in Washington, D.C. I mean, it's right here in front of our face that the politics and the people who are in charge can affect these types of outcomes. It just doesn't feel like the justice system is blind right now to average people like me. And I'm wondering, with your legal expertise, how you feel about it.
No, it's not blind as it's supposed to be. And, as I wrote in a column after the verdict in the Trump case, Trump didn't lose as much as our legal system lost. The ideals of a fair trial, impartial jury, those were completely shattered. And no appellate reversal can erase that. Ethical integrity, equal justice, the rule of law, they're all casualties in the Trump case. There was no real crime there. Prosecutors targeted Donald Trump. Then they invented an offense, this convoluted theory, and then they manipulated the system to wrongfully convict. And, when a prosecutor like Alvin Bragg abuses his position to subvert the legal process, when a judge dismantles the due process rights of the accused, reverence for the law vanishes. So in the end, the failure of justice is really a failure of the people. Americans no longer can have faith that our courts will not be weaponized against disfavored persons like you, like me. If it can happen to a former president, it can happen to any of us. I think we're all at risk.
Yeah. I think that's the fear that a lot of Americans have. I mean, there's a political path that I want to ask you about and a legal path that I want to ask you about. Let's start with the legal. Gregg Jarrett speaking with us right now. You talked about the appeals. I've heard some of Trump's attorneys talk about the potential to go straight to the Supreme Court with this to try to get an expedited ruling, that it's a possibility, but not necessarily a likelihood. The timeline for this doesn't look like it matches the campaign timeline. What type of options does the Trump team have right now?
Well, look, Alvin Bragg and his team of Confederate partisan prosecutors knew that they could get a conviction in a biased courtroom, a biased judge, a biased jury, and they knew that their conviction would never stand up on appeal. So many egregious violations of due process and reversible errors by the judge, but they didn't care because you're right. Their goal was political, to be able to call Trump a convicted felon before the election, to influence the election, realizing that it'll get tossed later on, but the damage will have been done. So, they're not going to get relief in the New York court system. The appellate courts are just like Juan Merchan, the judge. They're all mini-me's. It's a liberal, politically driven club, and they protect their own. So Trump's only real relief is the federal courts. That's the proper venue anyway for all these due process violations. But it takes time. And, you can try to go directly to a federal court or even to the Supreme Court, or writ of habeas corpus, several other relevant writs. But, generally speaking, the federal courts say, we'll take a look at it after you've exhausted your state appeals. So, again, the clock is running. The election's coming up. And this was a political ploy, and it, to some extent, it seems to have worked for the Biden Democrats.
Well, with that, we'll have to wait and see what happens in November, I guess. We'll just have to sit on the edges of our seats for that. The final question I'd like to ask you, with Gregg Jarrett speaking with us right now, Fox News' legal analyst. A lot of people on the right side are looking for Donald Trump, should he be elected in November and sworn in January, to fight fire with fire, give the Democrats a dose of their own medicine. I could go on with the metaphors. The only way to balance this system out is to do as they do? How would you expect this to proceed?
Yeah, I have never endorsed that tactic. Just because somebody robs a bank doesn't mean it's okay for you to rob a bank, to use that analogy. Well, everybody robs the 7-Eleven, so it's okay for me to do that. No, I mean, just because Democrats have completely shredded the right to a fair trial and totally misused and abused the law doesn't mean that Trump should do it. And so, in his interview yesterday on Fox and Friends, he said, revenge is our success to turn the nation around. That's the best revenge. And I agree with that. I think take the high road. You're better than they are. So don't do what they did. Do something better.
Is the action that the breadth of the authority of the office of the president has the ability to do some bureaucratic weeding, I would assume, of trying to seek and find the people who may have been involved in these particular actions to try to work around getting Donald Trump in court and keeping him there and maybe getting him in jail. Do you believe it's important for Donald Trump, should he win election, to rebuild our Justice Department?
Yeah, I mean, he has no authority over the state systems, but the first thing I would do, were I advising the president, I'd tell him clean house at the Department of Justice, clean house at the FBI, and clean house into our vast intelligence apparatus, because they're corrupt, they have become political organs, and there's no room for that in the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, and other agencies. Now, these people should be scrupulously guarding the rights of its citizens, not abusing them for partisan purposes. And the only way to get rid of it is to get rid of all of those people who've been doing it. So, I think that's what he intends to do. It's a Herculean task, but, I think he can get it done.
Justice restoration, one might say. Gregg, Jarrett, real quick before we let you go, you've written a book called The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents, kind of just bringing to the top of everybody's mind these really important foundational documents that people should refresh themselves with. Why'd you choose to put this out there as your latest book, and what do you want people to know about it?
Because not enough people know about our rights that are so fundamental to our lives. And it's not just the Constitution, but so many other important documents. So I put them all together with my own analysis and commentary. And it's a tribute to the many patriots who made America great. We are this luminous beacon of hope for liberty and prosperity and justice. So in the book, you can read our nation's most important documents and speeches and letters. They changed the course of history. And I find in them inspiring words and galvanizing ideas, all of which shaped America. It represents our virtues, our aspirations, and our ideals. And, it seems to me that young people in particular need to read a book like this because they don't teach it anymore in American education.
Gregg, Jarrett, we appreciate you, and I encourage people to check out that book as well. Look forward to having you back again. Always going to be more to talk about, and we hope that you're free for us a little bit later in the month, the campaign season, the whole thing. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Annie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you as well. Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst, and the book is The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. I have looked through this book. I'm going to download it on Audible so I can get the audio version of it, and I just found it very interesting that when I just opened Audible to get that book, the first suggestion that came like right when I opened it is 1984. I wonder if that is like periodic documents. Go check it out. Let us know what you think. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins with the Monday Roundup on Wiggins America right here on the Annie Fry Show. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So let's talk about Stewie and the bagel loan, which you can only get with Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage. I've used the bagel loan twice, and both times I used it, It was to lower my interest rate. And this was years ago when interest rates were just, we spent years like these are historic lows, blah, blah. Okay, we don't have historic lows anymore. I listened to my own words. I listened to Stewie's words when I would sit and talk to him about the bagel loan and how when you refinance with the bagel loan, you don't pay any closing costs. A lot of times when you go into the refinance process, it feels a little punitive because you could have thousands of dollars stacking up in what it costs you to get that lower rate. And you're thinking to yourself, good grief, is this really even worth it? That's why the bagel loan is worth it, because you don't pay those closing costs. And if you got your mortgage maybe a couple years ago, last 18 months, 12 months, and the rates have come down since then, think about it. Lock in a lower rate right now while you can get it, and you don't have to pay any closing costs to do it. So it becomes very sensible to be able to go through that process with Stewie. And you can ask him all the questions you want to ask him. You can have him clarify as much as you need him to clarify so you fully understand what's going on. I've done that, and I did it twice. I hope you will check it out yourself. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Just Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey, Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address, if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Mortgage rates have finally dropped. That's right. Golden Oak has 5.375% fixed rates available right now. Our average cash-out customer saves over $1,000 a month. Call today and take advantage of our 5.375 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.934 APR. FHA 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Donald Trump.
I think my first reaction was just unbelievable.
The verdict is in.
He was innocent until proven guilty. He's been proven guilty.
Speak your mind here.
It's no longer we the people, it's they the government.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Someday, old dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way.
Wiggins! Oh!
Man, you guys.
What a juxtaposition of sounds.
Yeah, Moon River has really changed the trajectory of this whole segment. Because I was going to start with one that I'll get to, but I got to start with this one now. The eclipse was such a big deal. My question for you guys is, have you heard of the Parade of Planets?
6.
You have?
Yes.
Is this the one where they're all like lined up or whatever?
Starting June 3rd.
It's a MAGA parade.
Ooh. Are they flying flags?
A lot of parades this month.
They're pro-justice.
Red hats.
yeah. Starting June 3rd. That happens to be today.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus.
Excuse me?
Not mine. And Neptune.
Watch your mouth.
Will dazzle the sky as they are all near each other in the solar system, giving stargazers something special to look at in the morning.
I have astronomy nerds in my family.
Do you?
Yeah. Like, you get notified of these things.
So you've known about this like for some time.
24 hours.
Oh, okay. So it's
I didn't
news.
know about it before yesterday, because yesterday it was like, this is tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was it, I couldn't figure out from reading the article, was it this morning or is it going into, because it says it's going to last a few days. So it's starting today, but I didn't know.
ask. I am not one of the astronomy nerds.
Okay.
Have an appreciation for it. Love a good meteor shower. Can point out probably I was going to say a dozen constellations. There was a time. And if you ask questions, that conversation is a long one. You just say something like that and you go, wow, that's neat.
I agree.
Cheeseburger?
Because when you go outside and look at it, I'll admit, seeing the eclipse, that's cool.
Yeah.
It does feel like we make a little bit bigger deal out of these things maybe than is necessary, but it's still cool.
I don't think we make a bigger deal out of them than necessary. And I appreciate that there is still an interest in these types of things. Because I always think to myself, for instance, an eclipse is a good example of it. If you were in ancient whatever and that happened, you'd be like, we're toast. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we were
that's it.
like, are we going to do the 2 o'clock hour in the studio
Right,
or up
yeah,
here?
yeah.
It's just a very different time because we have understanding and knowledge of it. But I can't look at the Earth, the moon, and the stars and the solar system and the galaxy and not go, God is pretty great. I mean, that is the culmination for me. And so I appreciate it. I understand the appreciation for it. I just don't have time to dabble in astronomy.
Yeah, so you're not somebody who could look up and say,
Pretty sure that I could point to anything in the sky and say that's Jupiter, and you'd be like, wow.
oh, yeah,
cool.
absolutely. Really? No kidding.
Actually, I can tell you
I
all
thought that
6.
was the sun.
This is Earth. Right there. It's the bright one.
Man, it's amazing how bright Jupiter is. All right, next one is Kim Jong-un is sending poop balloons into
It's about time.
South Korea.
Oh, South Korea.
Yeah, not Dakota or Carolina.
I don't have any problems with them.
South, although we did get a balloon.
It's like
over
a
that
San
part.
Francisco kind of solution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just send
It's
it out
actually
somewhere else.
an import.
Right. Hey, that poop's coming from San Francisco.
San Francisco treat.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un has been accused of sending balloons filled with both poop and trash into South Korea in a tit-for-tat response to leaflets and other materials, including
Sounds like a-
K-pop.
I can't say that on here. I'm not allowed to.
You sure?
It rhymes with tit for tat.
Kit Kats.
Nope.
Sending Kit Kats over. Okay. They're sending. So South Korea has been sending over lots of media, including things like USB drives that play South Korean music, K-pop, and so this is Kim Jong Un's
So
response.
South Korea started it.
Apparently,
South Korea sent pop music into North Korea, and they returned with poop.
yes, and trash.
It's K-pop and then K-poop.
Yes. I had a lot more to say, but that was good enough, and I'm like, nope, time to whip. Let's move on. Here's a person who went viral over the weekend that I am just surprised that anybody could defend this, but hey, let's try.
Donald Trump.
The article starts with, she really just can't be bothered. Wheelie. It's a stretch, I get it.
If we need more information.
Okay.
To see
I'm
if we
not
concur.
returning my shopping cart, she says.
Now say the headline again.
She really just can't be bothered.
Oh.
I'm not returning my shopping cart. Married mom of 2, Leslie Dobson, a psychologist from Los Angeles, spat an unflinching TikTok. You can judge me all you want. So if you're going to give me a dirty look,
I think we've resolved the problem.
blank off, she says. I mean, she's got 11 million views on this thing in just a weekend.
I think we just got to the bottom of it.
That's why? Is that why?
I think you got had.
Yeah, she got me too.
How many times you could put, I mean, I would suggest that maybe you do this right now and maybe you have a viral tweet and say, all you'd have to tweet is, it's completely unnecessary to return your card.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are somebody who is trying to make money off of Twitter, in that instance, they said this is TikTok, the amount of people that will click and reply to you, this is what a lot of what Twitter, you have to understand that this is an element of Twitter now, that reaction, clicks, scrolls, people who spend time reading it, like that can be profitable. So you just say something obviously wrong or offensive, and then you withstand the hate that you get, and then you take it to the bank.
I think in light of that, I think I am a dog now. I think I'm going to be a dog online.
I hope that people push back.
There's a lot of benefits that come with being a dog, though. You know, you can kind of go to the bathroom wherever you want. People think you're cute still.
You can do that in North Korea.
Yeah, that's true.
You can
put it in a balloon.
Crap in other countries.
Yeah. Hey, send this out of here. This is gross.
But I mean, like there is a whole thing, like the idea of who somebody is as a person can be completely boiled down to whether they return the cart or not.
Yeah.
And this person's like, I'm not a cart returner, so of course she's going to get engaged.
Her defense is I'm not
on
getting
the internet.
Yeah, I'm not getting groceries into my car and getting my children into the car and leaving them in the car and go return the cart.
Park next to the cart return.
You got to think
crazy
ahead of time.
lady.
You got to think ahead of time. Yeah,
Don't get a cart. Make your kids work.
And everybody has to do this. I understand that leaving, especially if they're really little kids in the car for a minute while you're walking away, is hard, but
if you go to Ruler Foods and you got to put your cart in, you got to pay to use the cart, and you got to put the cart back to get your quarter back, problem solved.
True.
That's because good people go shop at Ruler Foods. They didn't even pay me to say that. Let's talk to Kash Patel in the next hour.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity. And you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Go to Truehold.com now. That's Truehold.com.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, did you just have your house painted? Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, no, it's actually Rhino Shield.
877-25rhino.com.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boone's Lick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boone's Lick Trail near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The jury pool is growing. Lisa Brady, Fox News. At a courthouse in Delaware where President Biden's son Hunter faces federal gun charges accused of lying about drug use when he purchased a gun in 2018. The goal is 36 prospective jurors in a pool to choose from. They have 32.
Hunter Biden arrived at this Wilmington courthouse about 40 minutes before jury selection began this morning. Soon after, First Lady Jill Biden pulled up, a surprise appearance on what is her 73rd birthday. The Bidens have kept Hunter close. President Biden released a statement as this trial began, saying as president, he will not comment on a pending federal case, but, quote, Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. Hunter's resilience in the face of adversity and the strength he has brought to his recovery are inspiring to us. A lot of families have loved ones who've overcome addiction and know what we mean.
Fox's Rich Edson at federal court in Wilmington. Hunter Biden faces a separate trial on tax charges in California later this year after a plea agreement to deal with both issues fell apart last year. The White House says it's up to Hamas to accept a ceasefire proposal laid out by President Biden.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says it's fair to say the ball is in Hamas's court after Israel presented a ceasefire and hostage release deal last week.
Now is the time to move forward to the next stage here. Get phase one of this in place. Get the at least some of the hostages out. Get a 6-week ceasefire. Get 600 trucks in a day.
Kirby says a pause in fighting would allow humanitarian aid to surge into Gaza. He also says President Biden accurately described the contours of the deal in remarks last week, despite some Israeli leaders suggesting otherwise.
Fox's Jarrett Halpern. The Israeli military just confirming the deaths of 4 more hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Scattered showers and thunder showers around this afternoon. It's warm and it's humid. 89, a real summer look and feel. Tonight, scattered showers and thunder showers, 68. Tuesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, but scattered showers and thunderstorms possible anytime. Some heavy rain possible Tuesday afternoon, 85. Heavy rain and some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms Tuesday night. Kick it out on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You find them online at igotfloor.com. I start most of my shopping excursions by doing research online, which is why I want to make sure you understand igotfloor.com is a place where you can start that flooring purchase shopping experience, doing a little research from the comfort of your home, your couch, whatever. You can look into the different products that they carry. You can see all the different kinds. There's a ton of different kinds. And I think that especially when you first start this process and you're like, okay, I want to get rid of the carpet on the main floor and I want to put in some hardwood. And then you realize there's got a lot of options for hardwood. There are different ways you can achieve a hardwood look. And you want to make sure that if you're going to invest in something, you got a budget. You know what you want to get the best for your budget that you can, but you also don't want to overpay for it. go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, and they're going to respect that from the very beginning of your shopping experience. One of the things that they have there is the Revwood Select and the Revwood Plus lines, which give you great warranties, a 10-year waterproof warranty, a lifetime all-pet warranty. They just have a lot of options for you and the expertise to make sure that you can match your budget with quality, both in the product and in the price. Find them in any of their 3 locations around St. Louis or online. Like I said, igotfloor.com.
Mark Cox here. My friends at Whiskey Dickerson are hard at work cranking out a brand new line of t-shirts, hoodies, and hats with hardworking, self-reliant patriots like you and mine. Whether you're the subtle and tasteful type or you'd rather push the First Amendment to the limits, Whiskey Dickerson has just the shirt for you. Right now, get 20% off by entering promo code 971 at checkout. Whiskey Dickerson is giving a voice to the silent majority. So if you like your coffee strong and your tea in the harbor, go to whiskey.dickerson.com.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best, Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
June 27th, Donald Trump debates Joe Biden, and you can only hear it here on 97.1 FM Talk. But you're also invited to the party. We'll all be at Dave & Buster's, so join us June 27th for the debate and visit 971talk.com/events. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So we've talked a lot about the law stuff that's going on. Obviously, Donald Trump convicted on 34 counts last week. What will that mean for his ability to campaign? If he is restricted to home confinement or jail, that's probably an in-kind contribution to his campaign. I think they've raised over $200 million since Donald Trump's conviction. I think $100 million of it came from one donor who the last time donated about $90 million. So probably not a surprise that that large donation came in, but it was bigger than last time. But, you know, Biden inflation, so that's only fair. And I think it was like 30% of the donations that came in were from people who had never donated before. Pretty amazing. I don't know if that's the outcome that they had in mind, but sometimes I think that we have to remember that the Joe Biden prospects are looking so grim that if you can call Donald Trump convicted felon, then maybe that's the best you got. We're looking at it like, is this really the plan? Is this really the plan A for the Biden administration? No, this is like plan G, maybe plan R. They've gone through a lot of plans. The Biden administration has not been successful in the minds of most people. Don't take my word for it. Take every poll that's out there right now that has shown Joe Biden steadily decreasing in popularity. And, you'll be able to see for yourself. There's so much time between now and election day or election season. So lots can happen. Lots can change. There's going to be a debate. June 27th, we are having a watch party with, are we announcing people who are there yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Lots of special guests. We're
Yeah.
excited. I'm just chomping at the bit to talk about who's going to be there with us. So just hold on to that thought. But you can get your tickets at 971talk.com/events. Tickets are free. There will be food and drink available for purchase at the event at Dave & Buster's. And you can watch the debate with us. I'm excited to take that in and spend some of the evening with you and get to meet a lot of you folks, take pictures, watch, cheer, boo, whatever it is we want to do. Tons is at stake, of course, in the November election, but I if you put a pin in June 3rd on the calendar, you will quickly see that things will change about 100 times between now and then. I want to talk a little bit about Marjorie Taylor Greene today at the Fauci hearing. Now, we could talk about the Fauci hearing as a whole. I think people are pretty decided on where they are on Dr. Fauci. He's one of the possible options in today's YouTube live chat poll. Who's the worst? Is it Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, or Joe Biden? Hunter, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden. Who's the worst? This is not a fact-based poll. This is an opinion poll. So wherever you fall down on this issue is for you to vote. And if you want to explain in the comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can certainly do that, and we'll feature some of those. It was hard for me to not put Marjorie Taylor Greene on this as someone that you folks can vote for. I just don't think she's consequential enough in the current moment in time to take up 25% of the options that I have. Listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene grill Fauci.
Mr. Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes, you said you represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci? Yes
Again,
or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no
Yes,
answer.
it's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, we'll take that as a you don't know what you represent.
Oh,
But this, as director of the NIH, you did sign off on these so-called scientific experiments. And as a dog lover, I want to tell you this is disgusting and evil, what you signed off on, and these experiments that happened to beagles paid for by the American taxpayer. And I want you to know Americans don't pay their taxes for animals to be tortured like this. So the type of science that you are representing, Mr. Fauci, is abhorrent, and it needs to stop.
So then she went on. That was not really so much about COVID-19, but the idea that, Fauci put himself out there and basically said he represents science. In this hearing today, which I listened to a lot of it leading up to this, he somewhat clarified those remarks. And I have found Dr. Fauci to be incredibly good at owning the moment that he's in, even if it completely conflicts other instances where he's completely owned other moments. I think he's pretty slick. He could be a politician.
Mr. Fauci, you also represent the type of science where you confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made it up. You
I
made it
didn't
up
say
as you went.
I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
But this is science.
What does dogs have to do with anything that we're talking about today?
These are scientific experiments. This is what you signed off on. But you also told the American people they had to distance by 6 feet. They had to wear masks. But let's also talk a little bit further about the type of science that you represent. NIH scientists made $710 million in royalties from drug makers, a fact that's been hidden. Let's talk about the fact about, is it right for scientists and doctors getting paid by the American people, government taxpayer paychecks, to get patents where they're paid millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty fees, especially when the NIH and these government agencies, most powerful agencies in our country, are recommending medical suggestions and advice and making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor. You're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
I know she does something for some people. If I would skip over her if I could. And I've had her on the show, and when she was on the show, she was promoting her book. Her book is MTG. You love her? Go get her book. But when I hear that, I feel like it's incredibly distracting to the actual point and message. And I think other people think that is the point, and that is the message. We're under the same umbrella. We probably vote the same way. MTG is not for me.
She's talking about in those clips things that Fauci did push. Now, if you want to get lost in the semantics of, well, I never specifically said blah, blah, blah.
Semantics is politics.
That's why
all
you're
it
there.
is.
And that's why he's at this hearing. But the points that she's making are relevant. The things that she's trying to pin him down on are important. She's just not very good at doing it. You can tell the difference between somebody who's up there and who is a lawyer. And they know exactly, like Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, they're not representatives, they're Senate. But these guys, they know exactly how to pinpoint and make you answer specific questions. Marjorie Taylor Greene's a little more performative. She's not doing that, and I wish she would.
When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is doing AOC things, there's a contingent on the left who votes the way she does and probably agrees in whole with where she's getting, but is like, please stop. And it's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Like, to your point, Ryan, she is bringing up something that's very important here, that they were talking about how they don't really know where the 6-foot rule came up with, masking. They don't really know where that came from. And she's out there and she's like doing that, but she's also talking about the Beagles experiment, which she's right. That was abhorrent.
Exactly.
But she's kind of stepping all over really important things. And when she grabs one thing that isn't related to the other thing and she mashes them together to gin up outrage or something, she gives the media the chance to say, see, these crackpot Republicans don't know what they're talking about. Whereas if she would have just stayed on message about where did this come from? How did that become national policy? How did that become CDC policy if it wasn't based in anything scientific or any studies or any facts? How did that happen? And just let him dangle or Fauci out of it. You know how he does his thing. It would be a much harder thing to spin. So it doesn't really help the cause to have her doing the MTG thing in this situation.
It's because when you take the facts, if you were to just look at the facts of what she was saying and read it on paper and not know who said it, you'd be like, oh, there's some really good stuff in here. But I don't ever get to the end of it and feel like it was about anything other than her, which is the exact same way I feel about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the exact way I feel about the majority of the people in the squad, our own just deplorable Cori Bush out of St. Louis here, representing, unfortunately, the people who are in this city. It's if at the end it's to elevate your profile, it's to cut through the highlights to get on the talk radio shows, to get on the cable news networks. I understand that you might be like, Annie, she's on your show. I'm not. I don't think that this is what she expects. And listen, like, I don't think that any of us, I'm just not really afraid to say what I think about this. Like, I don't think that MTG is the warrior we need. Maybe she's the one we deserve, or whatever they say in Batman. Is that from something before Batman?
I didn't even know it was from Batman, so congratulations.
It's at the end of The Dark Knight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
After Batman, after the Commissioner, doesn't the Commissioner kill Two-Face?
Ooh, Two-Face. Man, that's that Batman. Man,
Yes.
you're way beyond
The
me.
Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Christian Bale?
I think I've seen each of those movies one time.
There's this moment as a parent where you've lost it and you've like tried to reason. You've tried to be a rational person and you say to your kids, look at me. And you're like, look at me. And you're like, I need to take I don't smoke, but I need a cigarette. I need to go outside, take a break. You didn't see The Dark Knight?
No, I did, but I just don't remember. It's been so long. I've seen it one time, probably right when it came out.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's rewatchable. You watch it and you're like, I could watch that again right now.
Well, maybe I'll go watch it tonight. And
You
I'll come
should.
back and I'll be like, oh, you guys, remember in Dark Knight?
Yes.
And we'll just do a whole segment where I
You
do
could
that.
fill in the details that I'm like just dabbling on as somebody who's watched it so much and can't remember. Because they pin it on the Batman because they don't want Harvey Dent, who was the White Knight, they don't want people to know that he was really the bad guy because he was trying to kill the commissioner's family.
You see, this sounds vaguely familiar now. And now I get your point about
should
MTG
refresh.
even better.
I don't remember what it was. Enlighten me. Now I don't remember what happened in Batman, and I don't know why I'm talking about
Hey,
MTG.
Let me tell you this. I think the
hero
way,
we deserve.
Yeah, the hero we deserve. He's right here. He's right here.
Don't make this a short. I don't want to get in trouble.
What she needed to ask, conclusion from all of this, what she needed to ask is, then why didn't you come out and issue a statement against those things? As the head of the NIH, you had the nation's attention. If it wasn't science, you could have come out and issued a statement against it. Why didn't you? And then you let him hang.
So Mike says, Annie and Brad and Ryan, House reps only have a certain allotment of time to drive home a point. It's predictable MTG or any other rep would do what they do in the hearings. Yes. And the reason why I'm like, eye roll when it comes to this is because I understand how to argue a point. And when I say argue, I mean debate, not necessarily fight, unless you want to elevate it to that. If you want to get me to go hard on it, insult somebody close to me, like go ad hominem in a way that makes me feel like the gloves are off, and then we'll go. But I'm not going to do that. I will argue my point, and I think a lot of times the person I'm arguing with will make the point that I'm trying to make on their own way before I have to show everybody and tell everybody what the situation is. See Barb on the show on Friday. When MTG is doing what she's doing there, she says, Mr. Fauci, like 3 times. And nobody reacts to it.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fauci doesn't say, it's doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody reacts to it. So then at the end, she has to explain her insult. And I'm like, that's what this was all about. That you wanted the headline to be, House Rep strips Dr. of Fauci of title or whatever. Because she goes on later on in the hearing to explain it. And I'm like, none of this matters to me. And if you're doing the people's business in the House and committee hearings, and there are things, and listen, I listened to some of the Democrats who are on there make cases for why the Republicans have tried to politicize all of this and say this is what they say is true, but it's not true because of this, this, and this. And when I listened to them, I thought, I want to hear what the Republicans have to say to what the Democrats are alleging that the Republicans have done. Like, I want to know more information. You get to MTG, everything halts because it's about her. The headline that comes out of that is not a revelation that comes out of what Fauci said. The headline that comes out is that MTG let him have it again. Now, there is something therapeutic on both sides of the aisle to watch your favorite emotional warrior in Congress go and say the things that you've been feeling. I'm just really not into that. I'd rather, and that's me. She's not my rep. It was going to be the poll question today. If MTG was running in your district to represent you in a primary, would you vote for her? And I thought, I have to explain that too much. And I want to give it a minute to simmer because it had just happened before the show. And I want people to have that in the front of their mind. She wouldn't be my primary pick.
I guess it would depend for me who she's running against. So that'd be a tough question. I don't know if I'd answer yes or no to that.
When you look at a Nancy Pelosi running in San Francisco, perfect choice for Speaker of the House because she is never going to lose in San Francisco. She can be as nutbaggy as she is, and it's not going to cost her her position. So she can do what she needs to do as a leader to whip her party up into shape. MTG has gained support as she has run in her district in Georgia. And so she is not beholden to a purple district standard where she has to really consider people who are on the far left or on the moderate left when she speaks, because that's who her constituents are. That's how the people speak, is through her. They send her there. She gets to speak. That's the same thing with Cori Bush and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jayapal and Ilhan Omar. They're elected by the people who are in their district. And based on their ability to retain their office, that is how they will represent the people in their constituents in their district. it doesn't take me long for me to be like, I'm ready for this to be over when she starts doing her Marjorie Taylor Greene things. Maybe not popular with the people listening to the show. Maybe y'all are like huge MTG fans. I don't disrespect that. It's not for everybody. It's just how I feel.
I just think people want the substance. When you're talking to Dr. Fauci, this is somebody who controlled and ruined your life for so many people. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about the people that you represent, and in this case, all of America, because that's whose attention you're grabbing.
Yeah, I agree. We'll get some more of your feedback from that as people are reacting here online with us on the YouTube channel. We're going to take a quick break, and Kash Patel is going to be with us, former Department of Defense Chief of Staff, former Deputy Director of National Intelligence. We had him on last week as we were leading into the verdict. Didn't necessarily know we'd have one as quick as we did, and those quick verdicts, they generally mean one thing, and that guilty verdict on 34 counts for Donald Trump certainly was the case. We'll get Kash Patel's reaction to that, but also $200 million coming in to support Donald Trump, 30% of that coming from new donors, small donors. People reacted pretty aggressively by saying, I'm going to open my checkbook for you because I don't think that what they're doing is right. Is that what Kash thinks? Let's ask him when we come back.
Now the bellhop's tears keep flowing.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, they've been so long on the street, they'll never look back.
Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Well, they're so lonely. Well, they're so lonely they could die. Well, if your baby leaves you, you got a tale to tell. Well, just take a walk down on the street to Heartbreak Hotel where you will be.
All right, the Diamond Shop is celebrating June by special discounts that I want you to check out. The first one I'm going to highlight is the 40% off all pearl jewelry. I adore my pearl necklace from the Diamond Shop. My husband gave it to me to mark a really special occasion in 2018, and I will forever think about that moment when I got those pearls from my husband. A beautiful, just like a very classy strand of pearls that really commemorated something, an important position in our life. That's a lot of times what this type of purchase is. Of course, there's an engagement ring and a wedding ring that obviously is a marker of something really important in life. But there are all sorts of different reasons why you make a purchase like this. And the Diamond Shop is there for each and every one of those celebrations. Some of them are small. Some of them are, little budgets. And some of them aren't. They're big. Either way, you want to save when you can. You can save 40% off all pearl jewelry throughout June. For the men in your family, the people who we are celebrating on Father's Day, 40% off all men's in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop. Go check them out, ladies. Find something special for dad in your life and save 40% off and 10% extra if you are a VIP for most of the things that are in the shop right now. You can become a VIP online at thediamondshop.net. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page, fill out a quick form, and you're on your way to saving an extra 10% on top of a ton of great savings this month at the Diamond Shop. Find them in Clayton or online at thediamondshop.net.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
Serving my country required sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free installation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
One of the members of the Trump legal team, Will Scharf.
Looking forward, we're very optimistic. We have very strong grounds for appeal. We don't think anything about this case is going to interfere with President Trump's ability to run for president.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
That she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her head.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
She acts like summer and walks like rain. Reminds me that there's a time to change.
And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are.
Is this right before he walked out of the room smirking when somebody asked if this was, politically motivated? I can't remember, but that smirk will live on and raise a few dollars along the way if anybody is doing their job right. Let's get to our friend Kash Patel back on the Annie Fry Show. Former Department of Defense Chief of Staff, former Deputy Director of the National Intelligence Agency. Thank you for being with us, Kash. It's good to have you here.
Hey, great to be back on.
We talked last week, or I think it was on Tuesday, didn't have a verdict, didn't know where this was going to go. I didn't think that guilty was a possibility. I thought a hung jury was almost a guarantee. And when it came back as guilty, Kash, I found myself, even though I knew it was a possibility, way more upset and disturbed about it emotionally. I'm not really a super emotional person. I was very angry when this happened.
Yeah, look, that's an appropriate response because you were responding to not necessarily the verdict. You were responding to an affirmation of the weaponized system of justice that Joe Biden and his hypocrites in the swamp have created to wipe out political opponents. Like being a guy from New York and being born and raised in New York, I guess my expectations were slightly different having come from that cauldron. The guilty verdict, though surprisingly unconstitutional, was not surprisingly issued by this rigged jury, judge, and prosecutor. And so now we at least get to move on to the next step, which is discussing Donald Trump's appellate options and allowing the U.S. to view this trial through the lens of that, which is what constitutional privileges was Donald Trump denied? And I think that's going to be a powerful conversation.
Yeah, and it's one that's probably going to last for a while. I'm curious about your position. Somebody who has worked with Donald Trump, knows him personally, knows him professionally, how you expect to see former President Donald Trump and candidate Donald Trump through these next months going into November handle the pressure of this. A lot of people seeking revenge through him but he's got to win the presidency to be able to do anything about it. What do you expect from the candidate, Donald Trump, going into November?
It's just like Popeye and another can of spinach. He just keeps cranking these things open and sucking them down for the American people and getting even more and more energized. And he's the only one that I know on planet Earth that can do that. And you've seen the immediate impacts financially, $200 million in like 4 days, which is every kind of record-breaking financial haul that can be. And that shows you the financial desire that people have to support this president. But what you've also seen is the millions of Americans flocking to Donald Trump's movement, because so many people, even on CNN, have said, this trial was corrupt, this trial was rigged, and I don't want that type of judicial system in this country. And the ones that authored it are everyone from Biden to Garland to Bragg to the people in Georgia and elsewhere, and they don't want their communities put on trial because they disagree with the political architects in Washington, D.C.
Kash Patel with us right now to react to the Trump verdict and the other news that has been unfolding. We can talk a little bit in a minute about the Fauci hearing and Hunter Biden's trial. There's so much huge stuff going on right now that I think that people's emotions, like I said, I'm not a particularly emotional person. I'm super saturated in news stories. I seek out opposing viewpoints regularly to check myself. But there is a ton of emotion out there. Now, you throw Fauci into the mix, and it's likely to make a lot of people become irrationally upset about this. What is the appropriate response for the average listener out here in St. Louis and the Illinois side of the river, wherever we are right now, who feels like, I cannot just sit by and be angry. I want to do something. We're not like the left. We're not burning our cities down. What do they do?
Right. And being fired up is absolutely appropriate. You just found out, again, that Fauci lied to you about COVID origins, that Fauci lied to you about the vax, that Fauci lied to you about how to treat the vaccine and everything else, and he lied to President Trump, which is what President Trump used to base his decisions on. And Fauci is still out of prison, not charged, and making millions of dollars. So, of course, you're going to be enormously frustrated with Fauci's decisions to shut down the world. So he and his corporate gangsters could make $750 million off patents while they were government employees. And then when you turn, of course, to all things with the Trump world, you have another right to be ticked off because of the two-tier system of justice. And your question is the critical one I address everywhere I talk. Don't take the bait and the projection from the radical left and overcorrect. Like you said, we're not the ones asking for the FBI to be disbanded. We're not the ones asking to burn down courthouses and set police precincts on fire. We're going to take the appropriate measure and use the Constitution to restore order. So what you should do is pick one thing and do it every day, whether it's blast out on social media, whether it's go down and support your city council or local sheriff's office, whether it's going to school board meetings and demanding that your child's education be free from gender fluid dynamics or whatever they're selling from Washington, D.C. Whatever it is, there's one thing you can do for the next 156 days every single day to make a difference. And the local level stuff makes more of a difference than anything you can do downrange in Washington, D.C. So your audience, they've got the power, and there's many ways to use it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Kash Patel joining us here on the Annie Fry Show right now. I think I saw a number that was somewhere around like 30% of the people who made donations over the last few days had never donated to the campaign before. Does that translate to November results?
I think so. I think, you can't stop, and I don't believe for a second Donald Trump's going to stop. We've got him coming out west to visit us. He's doing an Arizona, Nevada, and California swing towards the end of this week. That just tells you how much he's going. And all you hear about Joe Biden doing is talking about his son, the criminal who's on trial, and trying to force a emotional verdict and then sort of justify how we don't have any problems with our justice system. But I think the reason you saw all those people flock to Donald Trump and why that's translating now and through November is that they're first-time users, as you said, or first-time participants, or first-time financial supporters, or first-time people who put a yard sign up.
Yeah.
And it's because they've seen through the lies of Joe Biden and the sinister way in which they have gone about and unlawfully prosecuted Donald Trump. Here's the one thing Americans care about. They want to be left alone. They want the country to be governed without corruption. And when those two things don't happen, and they see that they are being robbed of the truth and the ability to vote based on the truth, then you're going to see hordes of Americans from now until November come out for Donald Trump.
I think so. And I hear the phrase too big to rig. I think it's an important one. The understanding of these basic swing states that will define the election. Do you look at like a North Carolina? It looks less and less like a swing state. Looks like it's going to go red. All of this could change, between now and November. Do you have confidence that the Republican Party, that the apparatus that is in place, should people listening right now sign up and try to get involved? Are we making the right efforts and strides to ensure that Donald Trump is going to be able to compete in a fair election?
Well, behind Donald Trump, I think with his ideas and leadership, we are. And at the national level, there's no better leader. At the global level, there's no better leader. What I always tell people is get involved with your local political party. Go to your local county GOP or your state GOP and get involved and donate there, because those dollars translate into so much more at the grassroots level than you can imagine. Then go out and register voters. And if it's legal in your communities, go out and ballot harvest. Don't wait till November. Out here in my home in Nevada, we got early ballots. They already came in. So, you guys, we may want to change the rules of the game, but we got to play the game to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for other people looking to get involved, you don't need to be the next national anything. What we need more than the next national anything is we need you to be on the ground every day in your local communities. And I can't stress that enough. That is how you keep the momentum that Donald Trump has created for us.
Yeah, it's so important. County GOP, I hear it from person to person to person on a regular basis, that is where the help is most needed and most quickly applied as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kash Patel, thank you. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Yep, you as well. He is the former Department of Defense Chief of Staff, former Deputy Director of National Intelligence, has worked with Donald Trump, and is a great advocate for getting Donald Trump back in the office of the presidency. Lots of work to do. It can't always be, the people at the top of the party. And in a lot of cases, you might look at the people at the top of your party, wherever it is, your county or your state, and you might go, what the heck are you doing? And if you have those feelings, get involved and have your voice be heard. There are not enough people who are involved at that level, at the county level, where if you showed up and had a thought and opinion on something, that they'd have to hear you. And you just need to take the action, take the first step to participate. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins back in studio with us here in a minute. The YouTube live chat poll today, completely salacious and subjective question. Who's the worst? Is it Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, or Joe Biden? I listed them in order of currency of essentially trials. Hunter Biden, he's got a jury selection today. Donald Trump convicted last week. Anthony Fauci in front of Congress. And Joe Biden, just because he's the president of the United States, he might get your vote too. I don't know who you think is the worst, but you can go vote at the Annie Fry YouTube channel and just throw a comment on the YouTube chat there and let us know why you voted the way you did. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Now that she's back from that soul vacation, tracing her way through the constellation.
All right, I just got my notice from the Illinois State Police that in 6 months my conceal and carry license is going to expire, so I'm going to need to renew it. One location that I'm going to go to do that, it's STS Armory. Make sure you check them out at sts-armory.com for your conceal and carry classes, for your renewals, for your firearm purchases, your ammunition purchases, going on and on and on. Accessories, STS Armory are experts at it. They're located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. And I will tell you that when there's some, bigger box chain type of stores that do sell firearms, when people have questions about their FOID cards or problems with what the state is doing, delaying, whatever it might be, they always say, hey, go to STS Armory. That's what they send them, to STS Armory. The people who could sell those firearms, they say, if you have a problem, just go talk to those people because they're the best. Katie and Jesse know what they're doing. They care about your Second Amendment rights, and they care about making sure that you are lawfully owning and exercising those firearms in the state of Illinois. They have the answers to your questions, and they can help you get the things that you're looking to purchase. They've got the best knowledge base that there is. They also have classes, of course, for conceal and carry, renewals, like I said, both original licensure and renewals, and also ladies-only classes, pepper spray classes. They even do firearm safety and education classes for kids and teens. You want people who care about you as much as you care about your Second Amendment rights? you go to Pontoon Beach, Illinois to STS Armory. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
You know, I don't know what is going on here, but I was recently attacked servicing an air conditioner by 2 cicadas. Definitely planned. It had to be planned. One flew right into my mouth, and when I spit that horrible thing out, one came crashing into the back of my head. But I'm just telling you, cicadas don't taste good. They're gross. Something has to be done. So everybody be careful out there with the cicadas. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Be careful with the cicadas. I know there was at least one planned attack on me by 2. But again, this is about air conditioning. So if you do need service on your air conditioner this summer, what works really good, I found, for me and my customers is if you just save this number, my name and the number in your phone. That is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, and you can see some videos, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boonslick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boonslick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Guys, you know summer is just around the corner. Get yourself in shape now. Let my friends at Victory Men's Health help you. Mark Cox here. You know Victory is offering semaglutide, approved by the FDA for overweight adults. It's a game changer. On average, people are losing up to 15% of their body weight. Be sure and visit my friends at Victory Men's Health in Wing Haven, their newest location in Sunset Hills. They're also in Town and Country and in O'Fallon, Illinois. Go online today. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, just a reminder that if you haven't heard the promo, we're giving away James Taylor tickets all this week. So listen during the 2 o'clock hour today for your first chance to win some James Taylor tickets. That show is this week. It is 1:46 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Donald Trump.
I think my first reaction was just unbelievable.
The verdict is in.
He was innocent until proven guilty. He's been proven guilty.
Speak your mind here.
It's no longer we the people, it's they the government.
97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
A little girl for me to thrill. A girl who wants my kisses and my arms. A girl with all the charms of you. Venus make her fair. I love the girl with sunlight in her hair. And take the brightest stars up in the skies and place them in her eyes for me.
Really write songs like this anymore.
We should start.
The first line is, hey, Venus, if you will, please send to me a little girl for me to thrill.
Ooh.
Just sounds different in 2024.
Yeah, maybe we don't write that.
It'd be funny
let's
if
just leave
it'd be funny if they're like, send me a large girl for me to thrill.
An older woman for me.
Should write a woke version of this. Just see how it hits.
You know what I'm going to do is write a totally woke country song. And we'll see how that flies.
Good. We'll air it in 2026. This is so good. Who is this? It's not Bobby Darin.
It is
Venus, if you will.
Frankie Avalon.
Frankie Avalon. Okay, yes. If I'm listening to like the 50s channel, I love to listen to 20s music and 40s music. I don't know where the 20s channel is anymore on my radio, but I listen to the 40s a lot. Reminds me of Hollywood Studios. Leave me alone. But I love 50s too. Like when I'm thinking about my childhood, 103.3 on the radio, oldies. I don't think that you can you hear that in St. Louis anywhere anymore?
No, like the 50s stuff?
They'll probably be like, that's a great idea. Let's put it on 97.1.
Yeah.
No, stop!
You can't hear
That's
that
not what I
anywhere.
mean.
That's a great idea, Annie. Stop the presses.
It's like Soros' favorite music.
That was from when I was in my mid-40s.
And he was just saying how much she loves that music.
Remember, my kid's listening to that.
Okay. They told us not to say that.
It's too late now. We're past the dump button now. Can't do anything about it.
Whoops.
Just let it go.
Yeah. Wait a second. Where are my copy points?
Oh, there they are.
You know, Joe Biden's not that bad. Hey, don't laugh.
Look, he's done a lot.
This is deadly serious.
Let's-
Not a joke.
Not joke. Let's play clips from The View non-ironically. From now on.
I can't. My buttons don't work. That's about all I got.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say that. So it is hard to discuss that because I'm not sure how you defend it.
Which part?
The part where you said Joe Biden was pretty good.
Oh, I was lying.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, it was a lie.
I didn't know if we were taking a hard turn
I had
there.
my copy points, but they were upside down.
Ah, so I get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes perfect sense.
Read them upside down and backwards. You just sound just like Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a lot easier to do this show if you did just have note cards. Like that's all you had to do. You knew coming in.
So we were. You don't get the note cards?
No.
I do. Mine are in the trash right out there. Just kidding. I don't get note cards. We were listening to 103.3, not owned by this station, so.
You're already here.
I know.
Just
why
keep
not?
going.
I'm just gonna live. Would that be 80s or 90s?
Now?
No. When we were listening to oldies, I think it would have been 90s. I remember in the mid 90s listening that 103.3 would be like 50s oldies.
I don't remember by the 90s. I do
Oh,
remember.
yeah, for sure.
I definitely remember the 80s listening to 50s music.
On 103.3?
On 103, yeah.
That music was 30 years old,
Mm-hmm.
40 years old. Think about that for a second.
I don't want to.
That's the 80s.
That's messed up.
That's the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Freaking oldies from the oldies are from the 80s.
1984.
We are from the 80s.
Yeah, we are.
This is a travesty. I quit. I need to get that Social Security fired up right now and go, good grief.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Back to the Future was made today, he'd be traveling back to see Back to the Future in theater for the first time.
Yeah.
And that 70s show would be that 90s show. Actually, it's probably moving past the point where it would be that 90s show.
I think they did that 90s show recently.
Probably sucked because we don't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't think it did
It's
very
not
well.
my copy points here.
Yeah, we can't talk about it.
So I'm surprised Bill Clinton was the president.
That 90s show was very conservative, therefore it failed.
I don't think it was.
I know. Okay. Ashton Kutcher, I think, was on it. I got to look this up now.
What?
That 90s show. I think that really existed.
They did That 80s show for a little
Yeah,
while.
and that failed badly.
When you say they did it, is it the same people who did that 70s show?
That 80s show was most of the same cast.
Okay, That 90s show is a sitcom, one season last year.
How many episodes?
2.5.
I
don't know how many episodes, but it does say that Wilmer Valderrama was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah Jo Rupp, who played the mom, Kurtwood Smith, who was the dad, and well, that's all it says. I think there was more than that, though. And so that show must not have done very well. No, it does say all of them have guest starred. So Topher Grace, Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, all of them probably except for the one who's in prison. Guest starred on the show.
Is he a Scientologist?
Yes.
Still?
Now, I don't know if he's converted since being in prison to a different religion.
They didn't get him out of that?
I don't know.
Or maybe they did up until then.
Yeah, maybe one.
Did you not research anything for the show today?
How could
you not see this coming?
I can tell you
Ryan?
what. X's and O's Friday, it's just going to be that 90s show. That's it. A bunch of questions about the guest stars.
Annie keeps saying she wants to be about the show, and it's only in diverted topics that we discuss not knowing much about.
That's right. Yeah. Because if you haven't done your research by the time we get to Friday, then I can't vouch for you. It's on you. I gave you a heads up now.
No, it's not on me. It's on our guests.
Yeah.
it's on the contestants.
Whoever the contestants
Sorry.
are.
The best bet is to just disagree.
Well, we got 2 minutes left. Why don't you just read from your copy points?
Who's the worst? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden. I'm contractually obligated to add Donald Trump to this poll.
That's right. And he'll get about, I'm going to guess he gets about 5-6%.
I'm going to guess about 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
I think they've got about that many profiles. I think that if you look at this poll and you ask yourself who's the worst, Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden, without any parameters about what worse is, it's tough. Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I do. And it's only because I can't not say him.
Fauci.
No. Joe Biden.
Okay.
But Fauci's right there.
I think Joe Biden is the obvious answer here, but I assumed since it was obvious, you wouldn't pick it.
No, Fauci would be if it were other like if it was Hunter Biden and a couple other people who were not the two presidential candidates.
Well, and I threw Joe on there. Like the other three are newsmakers right now for kind of being on trial in various ways. I mean, Fauci isn't on trial for anything. He's at a congressional hearing. Right. Yeah. So.
So what?
Leave your microphone on when you're talking.
Oh, okay, fine.
He was just talking off air about how much he loves Fauci. Who's your pick, Brad?
Well, if it was...
I did not do that, by the way.
If it was who's the worst, it's probably Hunter Biden.
It is who's the worst.
But it's who's the worst.
Capital letters.
Yeah, and so when it's who's
talk.
the worst, it's definitely Joe Biden.
It has to be.
He's the worst. He's the
worst.
worst.
It has to be Joe Biden.
Yeah,
the last 4 years. See, Fauci was in charge of one of the worst eras of America that would span like 2-3 years. But under a different president, he would have been limited. And Donald Trump probably should have done more to rein him in, but it was just the early part of it. I think if it were 2021, 22, and it was still Trump.
Are they changing our programming right now?
No, don't worry about
it. Is it happening? Did he say Joe Biden? Get him out of there. Where's Frankie Avalon?
We would be replaced by Frankie Avalon because he's the hot topic.
It just makes you feel good inside.
He's what the kids are talking about on the TikTok.
Even if you're angry. Listen, isn't it beautiful? We'll be right back. Maybe.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal 3-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey, Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Gregg, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Four hostages held by Hamas are dead. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Israeli military confirming 3 elderly residents of a kibbutz near Gaza have been killed.
Israel's defense forces now confirm 3 bodies found in the Gazan city of Khan Yunis are those of 3 elderly men from kibbutz Nir Oz, taken hostage by Hamas terrorists on October 7th of last year. They are 80-year-old Chaim Perry, 80-year-old Yoram Metzger, and 85-year-old Amiram Cooper.
Fox's Eben Brown, all 3 had been seen in a video released by Hamas in December. The Israeli military also confirming the death of a 4th younger man seen in a hostage video last month. This as U.S. officials urge Hamas to accept a ceasefire framework proposed last week. The longtime top infectious disease official in the U.S. returns to Capitol Hill. Dr. Anthony Fauci facing continued criticism from Republicans.
Doctor, why was it so important that the virus not have started in a lab?
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan as Fauci disputes claims of any COVID origin cover-up while also defending decisions made during the pandemic, including CDC guidelines.
Facing questions on whether the closings of businesses, schools, and churches was the right move, Dr. Fauci says the stopping of mass gatherings was justified.
These were important when we were trying to stop the tsunami of deaths that were occurring early on. How long you kept them going is debatable.
The former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases testifying before a House subcommittee investigating COVID.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. Committee Democrats thanking Fauci for his work and accusing Republicans of pursuing baseless allegations. They're getting close to filling a jury pool at Hunter Biden's federal gun trial in Delaware. The president's son accused of lying about drug use when he bought a gun in 2018. America is listening to Fox News.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Scattered showers and thunder showers around this afternoon. It's warm and it's humid. 89, a real summer look and feel. Tonight, scattered showers and thunder showers, 68. Tuesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, but scattered showers and thunderstorms possible anytime. Some heavy rain possible Tuesday afternoon, 85. Heavy rain and some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms Tuesday night. Kick it out on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener, too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Convenient, free in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
Here's a home run, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Walker bombs one over the right field wall.
Kick off your summer at Busch Stadium on Saturday, June 8th with the Cardinals and the Rockies. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will leave with their very own bobblehead of a St. Louis favorite. He was acquired from the Rockies back in 2004, Larry Walker. This unique bobblehead is sponsored by the Shane Company and will be a great addition to your bobblehead collection. That's Saturday, June 8th. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Hey kids, you will not want to miss the Cardinals one-of-a-kind jersey giveaway coming up on Sunday, June 9th. That day, the Cardinals host the Rockies, and 10,000 kids ages 15 and younger entering with a ticket will take home their very own neon Cardinals jersey, thanks to High Chew. That's not all. Following the game, kids 15 and younger can participate in the High Chew Kids Run the Bases. For tickets or more details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Sonny Gray, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Loop.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The National Memorial of Military Ascent is on a mission to create a first-class Veterans Memorial Complex in Grafton, Illinois. Sue Thomas here. Conservatives Care is honoring our veterans. Learn more at 971talk.com/care.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. You know, it's offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. You know, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires. And freedom of speech is so important these days. I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. It's a sin. To joke about all the bad things, that's a waste, because that's exactly what we should joke about. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof.
It's my favorite cut of The View ever because we just cut out all the places where The View people talk. And you listen to Ricky Gervais's, is it British? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I would assume so.
Queen's English.
It just, I appreciate all the things he's saying. I really do feel like there's kind of a renaissance right now for free speech. And it really does come by watching people say things that make you uncomfortable and going, gosh, I really don't like it when they say that. And then just moving on with your life. I mean, like, that's really what the First Amendment is. I can think of the usage of one particular word that I am starting to see more people say. I don't like the word. I don't like when it's used. It's the R word. Everybody knows what the R word is. It's not one that will enter my vocabulary. And it's definitely one that in the 80s and the 90s, people used it all the time. And it was used to say something is stupid or dumb. And people stopped using that because the medical sense or the musical sense of that term, to slow, is offensive to some people, and I understand and respect that. So I choose to not say it. But you shouldn't be put into jail if you say that word. And I'm trying to think of many things that should be jailable. If you're going to threaten somebody, then I think that's an instance. But not if you insult somebody. And also, when somebody speaks out and says a word, maybe it's the R word for you or for me, maybe it's something else, I get a pretty good idea of who that person is pretty quickly. That lets me fill in the space of how much I want to interact with somebody, how much I don't want to interact with somebody. But because they get to open their mouth, I have more information. If somebody closes their mouth, their intentions and the type of person they are isn't going to change just because they're not saying it out loud. I just don't get, it takes me more time to learn it. So more speech, not less.
Yeah, you really never, I would think in any society ever would need the government to step in to tell you what's offensive or what's insulting, because the social stigma around it is what creates it anyway. So if people react poorly to the way a word is used or an insult or anything like that, usually the person deals with it by realizing, people are judging me, and then they alter it or they decide not to.
But the irony is historically speaking, it has been the government that has gone in and done that, and that's one of the things that makes the United States so unique is that First Amendment, that ability to say things that people don't like to hear, the ability to speak out against the government.
Well, it's not just about, try the shroud over this censorship and the pulling back of the First Amendment. The shroud is the offense, the fact that it could be hurtful or insensitive to someone to say something. So they can push this attack on the First Amendment because it looks like they're standing up against the bully, standing up against the guy who says the things that are hurtful, that make us sad inside. When in reality, if you take away or if you surrender a First Amendment right to a government to make those decisions for you, then when the government says something that you believe not to be true, you are now in a position where you have less freedom to speak out against that government and say what is true, and then have what? A disagreement where one side says this, the other side says that, and the people get to determine what they believe to be true. If you surrender that ability to speak freely because the government is there as the good guy trying to make sure that nobody gets their feelings hurt, that's the way they position it, what can they get away with? And then I go to the YouTube live chat poll. Who's the worst? Is it Fauci or Hunter Biden or Trump or Joe Biden? I'm a Fauci person.
I'm really glad Fauci is back in the conversation.
He needs to be a main part of the conversation. I said this, I don't know if I've said this on the air yet, but I really believe that Donald Trump needs to make a commitment. Everybody's making these commitments. If you elect me president, I'm going to pardon this person. I'm going to commute that person. I'm going to release these files. I'm going to do that. I want to know everything that Donald Trump can expose to the American people about COVID. I want to know what the conversations were about implementing distancing, masking, required vaccinations. I mean, some of this is happening on Capitol Hill today. It's supposed to happen there. That's the appropriate place for those conversations for the elected officials who are there because in the House of Representatives, the fewest people to representative ratio exists in the House. So you get the closest representation in the House of Representatives. That's why there are 435 of them. That is the appropriate way to do it. It still becomes a sideshow, as we talked about in the 1 o'clock hour with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then if you listen to what the Democrats are saying, I mean, it's amazing how often all of the conversation from a Democrat in a hearing like that, in this instance, comes back to just be about Donald Trump. When the tables are turned, the Republicans do the same thing. It's political. It's a show. There's purpose to it, but it is also simultaneously a campaign commercial churn. But Anthony Fauci knew better than all of us. Nobody sent him there. Nobody elected him. Nobody challenged him. And he was the leader of how we reacted in COVID. I think Donald Trump made an error in following his recommendations in judgment and trusting him. But I understand why Trump did it, because he didn't have any personal experience in mitigating something like this. And Anthony Fauci, in my opinion, has revealed himself to be the weasel that he is over the course of time. So the Monday morning quarterbacking here for me is to say, Donald Trump, what were you doing? I think that should Donald Trump have won in 2020 and been the president, I think we would be, the whole Fauci situation would be dramatically different right now. I want to know all of it. I want Donald Trump to come out and say, I made a mistake because I followed this man's advice. He got a medal. He should, I think he maybe has said this before, but he should have never given him a medal, acknowledging his efforts. I think that people like Anthony Fauci probably start out as servants, as public servants, very smart, very brilliant people. And then they realize that they can't trust the American people with the future and that they have to save the American people from themselves. And guess what? You get to do that if you're elected and you continue to win elections. Fauci didn't. Expose him, expose everything, even if that means Donald Trump exposing bad decisions, poor recommendations that he made through the process based on bad information that he was getting.
Also based on the First Amendment conversation that we've been having, Fauci and the government were absolute tyrants when it came to First Amendment issues. And so many of those things, that one included, were exposed during COVID in ways that I don't know that anybody believes. You know, these are things that we've been saying, hey, the government's going to get out of control at some point. Hey, don't let the government get too big. The deep state's a problem. And then COVID kind of showed what they were capable of, Fauci being the figurehead for all of it. So whether they're actually able to pin him down today and said, well, you said blank, just like we played with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't know. But he needs to be heard and pressed on all of these things because he was in charge of all of
it. I think about the challenge that was COVID to our entire structure of who was in charge and who had what authority to do what, to impose upon people. It was a great test of our system. And I think that maybe we've stuck the landing here for those of us that made it through it. I think you can look at New York and what Governor Cuomo did to see how disastrous the policies were. And, you know, I'd like to see somebody like him come out and say, we blew it. We completely and totally blew that whole situation, and it will be the regret of my lifetime. I don't know that Andrew Cuomo, I don't know what he thinks his political future holds. I don't know what is he doing now? I mean, I don't know what's left for a guy like him. I don't know if he needs to work. But there has to be some great admission of fault. And the people who are in positions of leadership should be able to say that out loud so that we know and have on record the mistakes that were made. They have to be admitted so that we don't repeat them again. And Anthony Fauci has admitted that the distancing, the masks, I mean, you did that to my children. I'm going to be forever grateful, specifically and anecdotally in my case, and I know this isn't the only place that did this, and, in Illinois, we were under Lord Pritzker's rule and reign. I mean, we still are, and there's no term limits. Sorry to be a buzzkill. But I am forever grateful for Lutheran education that said these kids need to be back in school. Kids went home in March, did remote learning through the end of the year. And when public schools did not send their kids back into the classroom, most Lutheran schools that I know of did. They had measures involved, but they were in school. And knowing the experience that my kids have had, knowing the experience that my peers, my friends who didn't have kids back in school, how their students fared with it, knowing people who are educators who had to try to educate, where you really got credit for the day by logging into a Zoom, and that was it. They couldn't even, legally, go look at the restrictions that were put on educators during COVID, their ability to give grades, their ability for kids who just chose not to show up to be held accountable for it. Kids who were in homes where parents weren't involved, parents weren't participating. I mean, these kids are up against the world when situations are normal. You throw COVID in the mix and those kids just get left behind. They will always have that be a major part of the formation of who they are as adults. And we did that to them. And then going back to the conversation about the First Amendment, you were not allowed to challenge it. How many strikes did we get on this show? Most of them are yours, Ryan.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's not just a joke.
Yeah. I think the last one was mine, and I'm really mad about
I
this
was so
one.
happy about that.
Yeah, I know. It's the best day.
I'm like, hey, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were retroactive strikes, too, weren't they?
They were a mixed bag.
Months and months. I mean, some of them happened when I was on maternity leave.
Yep. I remember one in particular.
Yeah, so do I. Go back and listen to those clips. To think that we were taken out for a week. In one case, it was, I think the most we had to sit out was a month on YouTube. But listen, folks, I'll speak for myself. I am not like the most bombastic person you're going to find in conservative talk radio. I'm not a bomb thrower. I'm not somebody I don't get on the radio from noon to 3 every day looking for a fight. I don't do that. There are a lot of people who do that. I have listened to radio that does that and been glued to my radio because I got to hear how it ends. I just don't find that to be necessary as the primary purpose of this show. I have an opinion and a perspective on most things, and I'm going to share that with you. And you're going to go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, or that's exactly what I was thinking, Annie, or somewhere in between. I don't need to punch people in the face in order for them to have the point land. And I don't need you to walk away agreeing with every word I say. I just think the discussion is important. We were not, as a show, fringe. Ryan's comments, well, I said I was speaking for myself. Ryan would be more outspoken about particular things that would end up getting us strikes, which I'm certain some of them were by people who were trolling our show to try to get us dinged on things. But to think that we weren't allowed to say the things that we said on the show, we were not a danger to anybody, ever. And if anything, we put ourselves out there as much as anybody. Push back on us. Challenge us. Let us know. We have people every day who are doing that, I think, as their job. I don't know. Maybe they work nights.
We don't know.
But
We're
they're
flattered.
there. Yeah. I am so afraid of how far they were able to get. You need Elon Musk to buy Twitter in order for us to have the Twitter files that shows the communications that were going. So even Ro Khanna from California is like, guys, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Why not? Well, the Constitution.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, that thing. It still matters, even to people on the left. And that aggressive nature that we find really tested out in COVID scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I don't remember all the strikes, but I remember the one we were talking about was it was like quoting a group of doctors who were questioning the official narrative. And they were asking questions probably about masks and vaccine. I mean, who knows? It was something like that. And now you look back at that stuff and you go, why wasn't America having these discussions? Well, it's because they told you couldn't, and they actually kicked you off for having wrong speak. That's where we were.
Yeah, which is why I'm on Fauci, because I think he's the snakiest, slitheriest, nastiest one of them all. Because Donald Trump, he's running to represent you. Joe Biden, he's running to represent you. Hunter Biden is, I mean, if you understand Hunter Biden's life, he was raised in tragedy. He is a mess. It is a sad state of affairs. He's taken advantage of his position, and I think he's taken advantage of it because he's been encouraged to by his father. It's all disgusting and sad, but Anthony Fauci did it quietly in the background. While all of these other people had very public exposures, I'm not just talking about Hunter Biden. All these other people have put themselves out there in a position to ask the American people for their support, other than Hunter Biden, who lived off of the benefit of his dad doing it. I think Hunter Biden took advantage of a position and took advantage of the political support that his dad received from the American people. But Anthony Fauci has done it all in the back. All undercover, all insulated from the very thing that makes the United States great, which is you. It's the people. Anthony Fauci doesn't answer to the people. He wasn't put there by the people, and he took advantage of the people. I'm an Anthony Fauci vote. He makes me very angry. He makes me so mad.
You make a strong case, Annie.
Thank you. They're all bad. I don't know if there's a wrong, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is great. He's my favorite. Am I allowed to say that? Let me check my notes.
For the notes. Yeah, no, you can't.
It looks
Sorry.
like we got to go to a break.
Yeah, we do. Sorry.
Man, I've made two
Just
donations.
the way it is now.
Made 2 monetary donations to Donald Trump, and I didn't know that when I was going to buy a hat for somebody that it was going to be considered a donation. So now I'm in for 2. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Girls, what y'all trying to do?
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
So I want to talk to you about Window World and the smart move that it is to reach out to them, 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, and talk to them about their 36 months. Same as cash financing with approved credit. This makes your window replacement much, much, much more manageable. You can spread it out over 36 months, and it's not going to cost you any more money. Just reach out to them and talk to them about what you are looking for. When you get these windows from Window World to replace the seal is broken on the windows, they're all fogging up. Maybe you've got some cracks in your windows. They are no longer efficient to make sure that the energy that you're paying to heat and cool in your home is staying in your home. You need Window World, and you want to go with somebody who's not going to give you the runaround, the hassle, the high-pressure situation. They don't do that at Window World very intently. They trust you with your investment. They know that you are looking for a quality product, and they want to give you the best in product and service. A lifetime warranty that includes labor on top of course, parts and glass breakage. Call them at 314-993-1800 and make sure they know that Annie sent you. 314-993-1800. They're the windows that are simply the best for less. They care about you as a customer. You can check their reviews out online, also with the BBB. You can find them online at windowworld.com.
Baseball season is heating up. With the free Odyssey app, you can get the most entertaining local coverage of your team while you're at work or on the go. Stay locked in and in the know with your favorite hosts as they bring you unfiltered takes, react to the latest team news, and talk to callers. Don't miss any of the action. Stream the shows you love live or on demand with the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Download it today for free.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity. And you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Go to Truehold.com now. That's Truehold.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors, specifically my friend Tim Nesbitt, who is the owner. He is from the customer service business, 20 years in the restaurant business. So the answer is yes. What's the question? Anything you need. Hospitality, personal service. We're upscale. We're a James Hardy company. Roofing and siding and gutters and great value. Tim just texted me and he beat the next closest bid by $15,000 just this week. You can call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere.
Where St. Louis comes to talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. One, here comes the two to the three to the four. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. Two stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord. Someone put me up a
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm going to fly with Blue Angels on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I am excited.
You should be. That's going to be, well, you're going to video the whole thing, right?
It's going to be on video.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Nah.
No, I really am, because I think you might pass out.
Oh, my gosh.
You gonna pass out? You already know it?
Yes.
Okay.
The goal is to not choke on my vomit.
Okay. You going to get blotto ahead of time?
Huh?
Totally pass out drunk right before you go in there?
What?
Yeah, blotto doesn't stand for pass out.
I've never
drunk.
heard of that word before. Have you?
No, this is new to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't run in those circles,
Yeah,
Ryan.
no kidding. Tell us more about your life.
Somebody in the chat, let me know that you've heard blotto before.
How do you spell that?
I think BLOTTO. Now you got me curious.
Did you make that up?
No.
He's gonna go on to what is it, Urban Dictionary and find out
I'm
something
gonna find
horrible.
Out something. Yeah, there it is. Blotto, very drunk. Blotto in American English. Adjective, slang. Very drunk.
We speak Missouri English here.
Unconscious because of drinking too much. I was spot on.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be blotto.
We
is what
didn't
you're
say
saying.
it wasn't a word. We just said we weren't those kind
You
of
did,
people.
yeah, you didn't know the word. There we go. Well, I just want confirmation that the word exists and I used it correctly, even though you're not going to be it on Wednesday.
I've had enough of this guy. Goodbye.
Okay. I like the quiet narration.
I'm just thinking out loud. What is your advice for me?
Definitely go in enthusiastic. You know,
Mhm.
be really ready to
Like,
have a
own the
good time.
moment.
Yeah, own the moment.
Just descend.
Manifest abundance.
Are you blotto?
Might be.
Did I use that right?
I'm not blackout drunk yet. Real advice though? Gosh, I don't know, because I don't know what you're going to experience. When we were talking,
experience G's.
When we were talking to
Mark
on Friday.
Sutherland.
Mark on Friday. When we were talking to him,
Hunter
he was
asked to fuzz the tower. Pattern's full.
He was talking about the miles per hour that you'd be going.
All of them.
And it was
At
was it
once.
400? 450?
That's the takeoff.
Yeah.
That's
you
right.
take off at 400, and they're allowed to overland, get up to the speed of sound, but not cross it. So
You have to
right
get,
at 700 miles
You have to get
an hour.
permission to break the sound barrier.
Do you?
Yeah.
So it'd be fun
So do
to
the people on our chat.
open the window and yell something and see if.
I'm not opening the
You
window.
can't open the window.
This is terrible advice.
Well, it's
Excuse
advice,
me,
though.
Mr. Pilot. Can I just roll the window down?
Can I just
crack the
it over
window?
there.
Yeah.
Just stick your phone up.
Yeah.
Gonna eject me from the vehicle.
Tell you what, it's tight quarters. Don't fart. Because you can't crack a window, as I've just learned.
I'm gonna wear discreet underwear, like the brand. Like I'm gonna wear.
What does that mean?
Like a Depends.
Ah, okay.
I am.
In case Susie craps her pants.
Yeah, I don't know who Susie is, but I wouldn't want her to do that near me.
Okay.
I don't know what I could see me going in there and being able to go through the whole thing like a champ. I do not think that's the likely outcome. I think that I am now listen. I've known that this was a possibility. If you didn't hear Friday on the show, I also posted it on social media. I have been asked to fly in an F-18 Super Hornet.
Yes.
To get the experience. They invited me to do this, and I had to get a physical done maybe 2 months ago and submit that. They tell you that it's like 45 minutes in the air, and the experience is like running 6 miles. It's very physically taxing. So I have, for over 3 months, I have hired a personal trainer and been weight training twice a week with this personal trainer, trying to go a third time a week if I can, but really focusing on getting a minimum of 5,000 steps in every day, but trying to achieve the 10 is the goal. And so I've been really physically trying to prepare myself for this. And I think it still might be a total disaster for my ego, but like, what a memory.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you remember any of it.
Mm-hmm. The video will just show me like this.
Yeah. Maybe you just need a nap. Maybe it's just a good place for a
I
nap.
actually do.
Yeah.
The lengths I would go.
I think that one of the things you're going to have to do is give us the fully unedited video.
It will exist in my possession unless I can't get out of the vehicle on my own accord afterwards, and then they might have to hand it to somebody else.
The other thing that's going to happen on are you coming back Wednesday afternoon or Thursday?
So here's the deal. I'm flying Wednesday. Didn't they say that I'd probably be in the air around 11:30 or something like that?
Yeah.
So I'm not like you're doing the show that day. Is that right? Or
me and Mike Elam.
Elam is coming in. Okay, good. So we've got several people to do the show here. If I'm in a position with time to come be a part of the show and my state of mind, I will be here. I would say there's a 5% chance that happens.
Yeah.
My real goal is to make sure that I'm ready to do the show Thursday.
Well, no matter when you come back, I'm just going to prepare you for this. You're going to say, oh, I got to fly in an F-18. It was amazing. And I'm going to say, oh, F-18, huh? Wasn't an F-19? I got to fly in an F-19 once.
You didn't.
No, I didn't. But
No,
I'm
you
preparing
didn't.
you for that joke right now. Because that's going to happen.
Thanks. I feel
Yeah.
Better now.
And people who heard this, when they hear that, they are just going to die laughing.
I am reading comments here, and I am interested in all of the suggestions that people might have, especially if you're somebody who has flown one of these before or is in service. They give you the list of, people are saying like you don't eat breakfast or don't eat a big breakfast or whatever. It's important to eat breakfast, but you're supposed to eat like the right things. Don't eat something super heavy. Don't eat something super acidic. I've read accounts of other people where the pilots advise you to eat bananas, and the person was like, "Oh, is that easier on your stomach?" They go, "No, they just taste the same coming up that they went going down." I'm like, "All right, okay, that's good advice. I will eat bananas."
Do Airheads if that's the case.
What? No.
Taffy?
Stop, Brian.
You want to enjoy it twice?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
How about just getting 2 and not vomiting?
Done.
If you were in my shoes right now and you were going to do this Wednesday, would you be totally stoked or would you be very, like, how would you feel?
I think I would try not to think about it at all.
That's where I am. It is a complete and total out-of-body experience for me where it's like this person is going to go do this and I'm going to know that it happened. And then I, wonder if I'll have a nervous breakdown within the 24 hours after I land.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be the same type of thrill scare as something like skydiving, but I would put it in that category. That I would love to try it.
Don't want to do that on this instance.
But I don't know that I would be brave leading up to it. I would just say it's just going to happen, and I'm just going to keep going through my days until it gets to that point, and then I'll do it.
Scooter wants to know if I have a call sign. No. Y'all can feel free to suggest some. The big joke, too, because their media personalities get to do this from city to city or whatever. The regular joke is that the person's name is 2 bags.
2 bags of vomit.
2 barf bags. They just leave out the barf.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be that. I might. I'm not going to act all tough and buff going into this because I don't. That if I get off of this plane and I haven't thrown up, I will be very surprised.
I bet. Yeah, and if you stay conscious. Are you expecting the pilots to come up with lots of nicknames for you, like 2-bag Betty back there and stuff? Because that's pretty much all I'm thinking is going to happen.
No.
Susie craps her pants.
I'm hoping they're just like, welcome aboard. I'm going to show you some things.
See,
I'm
I'd
going to
be
be like,
disappointed
thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
How fast do you have that video turned around?
Are you kidding me? Depends.
Depends is a joke, too.
Non-ironically. I mean, literally. I don't know. If I upload the whole thing, if I end up editing it, because maybe it's 45 minutes of just me sitting there because we're coasting through the air and don't need to see all of that. But one thing I wondered was if any of the people who were there with me, like Brad's going to go and my parents are going to come and my husband and I think my kids are going to come. Are they going to be in a position to hear any of the communication while we're in the plane? I don't know. Do you want to ask?
Wait, I will check in. I know whenever they do the show, the pilot's communications is broadcast over the speakers at the air show.
Yeah.
So I think the possibility.
So you think it's going to be broadcast to Chesterfield? No. It's a dramatic change of interest.
I don't know. I mean, it's a definite possibility, but I don't know if that's actually what will happen.
Here's a weird question. Could you talk on the radio to the ground if you were going faster than the speed of sound? You know what I'm saying?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys that.
No, I don't know.
It's radio waves.
Yeah, but you're going faster than the waves.
You just have to talk about things in the future.
It's radio.
Ooh.
It's radio waves, Ryan, not sound waves. Those are different waves.
Radio waves aren't sound waves.
No.
Okay. And I learned something.
Sound waves turn into electronics. Electronics turn them into radio waves. Radio waves turn them into signals for your radio. Your radio picks it up, turns them back into sound waves.
See, I asked this question expecting an answer, and I got a great one. I'm a winner.
That is very, low level an explanation, but yeah.
That's why you're taking Brad.
I don't know what he just said.
I still don't either.
Here's what I know. How do I buckle in?
Mm-hmm.
When is this over?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can say I did it.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole presentation is the way it was to me is like this is supposed to be an enjoyable experience for you from start to finish. Like they don't take you up there and you're just at the mercy of them torturing you for 45 minutes. But what's the fun in, oh, you went up in a Blue Angel, F-18, Super Hornet, whatever, and you went up and then you coasted and you went down. I don't know that I'm going to let them do everything, but I am going in there with the attitude that I need to set everything aside and let them show me what they do.
Last question about it. Is the takeoff the worst part because you're going from 0 to 400 so fast, and then once you get up, you kind of can relax?
There are going to be inversions.
Oh, okay.
There's the possibility where they let you experience zero gravity. There are, I don't know what they're called, but loop-de-loops. There are all sorts of things that they're going to try to put me through. I think the takeoff will be okay, so this is how this is going to go. But I think that's just the beginning.
All right.
Pray for me.
Fun.
I will be praying. Here's the other thing, too. I've said this before in the air, maybe even recently. I could have a very filthy mouth the whole time this is going on. So I'm going to try really hard to, come up with some good replacements. Here's what I need to know. You guys need to give me a call sign. You guys need to give me your advice. And you need to give me the words to replace some commonly used words that maybe I could say instead of what I would normally say. I don't know. It's happening Wednesday. There will be video evidence. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
All right, let's talk about the Retirement Advisory Group. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw. These folks are there to make sure that your retirement is one that is simple to transition into. If you're in your late 50s, early 60s, if you've just retired, you need to know these specific tricks and tips to maneuver yourself into that transition and out of that transition, protecting yourself. When you work with a retirement advisory group, they've never had a client who's lost a penny, and you could be the next one. You could just set up a free retirement review when you reach out to them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. And you figure out how to sit down with them on a conveniently operated time between yourself and them and just talk to them about where you are. They'll talk to you about how they can help you get where you need to be, and that worry-free retirement will be in view. 314-993-9494 online right now at retirementkey.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want. Money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Hey, James Taylor is coming to town this week, June 6th, and we are giving away tickets to, if you want to see James Taylor, at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Now is the time to call. Be the 11th caller at 314-241-9797. One more time, the phone number for you, 314-241-9797 if you want to see James Taylor and win a pair of tickets right now. It is $248-$249. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Good afternoon. Getting set here for a Monday edition of the show. We are loaded up. We got Scott Jennings in the first hour. Johan Hari at 4:25, who wrote a book on Ozempic called Magic Pill. It's all coming up.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around, but she grew up tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on an Indiana night.
President Trump, you're the man, bro. It is a travesty what they're doing to you. I'll be donating to you, my man. Let's get it done.
That sounds like what I'm going to sound like in the pilot or behind the pilot. Just beep, beep.
Oh, I thought
Deliriously,
like, come on, let's get this thing done. Let's go.
Let's go.
You should do that.
Should I talk like you talk like me as a trucker?
Yes, the whole time.
Maybe this whole time you were right.
Yeah, that's your real voice. This is your radio voice. I've heard you off the air. I get mixed up.
What are you talking about?
Because when you talk off the air, you sound like that. You're like, come on, let's get this done. That was a great show today. Everybody, let's get home. But then on the air, you use your very proper female voice.
Which sounds like what?
That. Hi, I'm Annie. Blah, 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 blah.
That's sound like my husband.
Sorry. Yeah, that was an impersonation of Jarrett doing Annie.
Yeah. Men, if you ever really want to land your point, use your fake female voice when mocking your wife.
I think I want to paint the bathroom again. Blah, blah, blah. Let's spend a weekend doing that instead
Why
of something
are you
more
marching
fun.
with your hands while you're talking like that?
That's the way women walk.
These days.
Oh, it's 2:51. At 2:57, Annie's going to say, boys, good job. That was great. Looking forward to Blue Angels on Wednesday. And I get confused because I have to keep track of on-air Annie and off-air Annie. So when you ask me to do an impersonation, I sometimes mess that up. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
Are the personalities the same?
No,
Just the voices is different.
No, very different. You're very liberal.
I sound like a trucker and I'm a lib?
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't get it.
That's true.
You're really good at showmanship. I will say that.
Showmanship.
Showmanship. Dude, I'm going to paint the bathroom.
It's like ridiculous. YouTube live chat poll. Who's the worst? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden, or Ryan Wiggins? Your vote online.
Let's recarpet the basement. That's not that expensive.
If you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet.
No, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I probably should actually do that.
Yes, you should.
Katie's been saying that for a long time. We need to recarpet the basement. And I'm like, we'll get to it.
Do you understand For real.
Yeah.
Not just because Michaels is a great sponsor, longtime sponsor of the station. Do you understand that if you went to Michaels, got a quote, came back to her and said, you've been wanting to carpet the basement. I went to Michaels. Here's some options. What do you think? You would be golden for so long. Do you have any idea?
No.
Oh, yes. Period. Yes. Period. Yes. Period.
No, I would be golden for about a month because then she'd want to do the next project. It would look amazing, I'm sure, because
schedule the project for August.
That's a great idea, and I do
thank
do
you.
that.
I'm full of them.
I do that because when she gets past one, because she'll make, like I mentioned, the bathroom. She's going to make the bathroom look awesome, but then she's done and she wants to do the next thing.
What's standing in the way?
Me. No, that's not true. It's her.
False.
She's standing in the way.
Yeah, well, maybe
She can't make her mind up on the color.
Maybe she's standing in the way by involving you.
No, at this point, I'm just like, look, do whatever you want.
Really?
That thing's been half painted
Get a
for
mark
about
tape and
6
send
months.
it to Miss Wiggins, my best friend.
Yeah, I got that right now.
She's
whatever
painting
you
the
want.
doors and stuff. I'm like, look, you can't get back from the doors. Once you paint the door's painted.
Does it look better?
It's not done. So I can't tell you. It's half done. It's always half done.
Is the jury out that maybe it won't be better and she made a bad decision?
Oh, no. It will be better once she figures it out.
There you
She's
go.
really good at that.
Good.
But it takes her a while.
Why are you holding her back?
Yeah, you're right. I'll just concede that you're correct once
She
again.
knows. She knows. She's good at this stuff.
Yeah, she is.
The only representation that you have in this process here is the money.
Yes, and even that, the bathroom is not, a big deal. So I'm like, really, do whatever you want.
Yes.
So I'm really not holding her back.
Flooring in the basement.
And flooring in the basement, I have said that's a project for probably later this year or early next year.
Get the quote.
Yeah, I need to. But hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, as soon as you get done with the bathroom, we'll start talking about the basement.
You just start the conversation.
I think so.
She's going to look at you for a while.
Yeah, she's going to be surprised.
She's going to want to know what you want.
Yeah.
She's going to look at you for a while, and then she's going to rewind the show. Be like, what did my best friend say?
Give her flowers when you tell her.
No. Nobody tell her about this. Nobody.
Well, nobody's
that I
listening. Nobody would possibly do that.
Please don't.
Why? Because you want credit.
I'm committing to things that I'm not necessarily ready to do yet. I need to
or
think this through.
even really going to do.
No, I'm really going to do it at some point. I just don't know when.
Is this your on-air personality? Just
Yes.
the people pleaser? You want credit for the actions as a loving and trusting husband, and then you don't do any of it at home?
Yeah, and then I get off air and I'm like, wow, what a great show, you guys. Remember when I was talking about the flooring? I was lying.
You should see us talking in the kitchen afterwards.
And
when
he's like, shut
Camo
up.
X walked
Shut
by.
up. You shut your mouth. Like, I thought you were an encourager.
I'm just saying, your wife's been talking about the flooring in the basement. She wants it. She probably knows that you're kind of holding. Watch you go suggest that we do that and her say, oh, I don't know, maybe we should wait till winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Might be likely.
Yeah.
You get credit for offering, though.
Mm-hmm. That's all really I'm interested
You take
in.
that credit?
Just credit.
You don't put that credit in the checking account. You put it in the savings account for when you really messed up. And then you pull out and you make sure that she understands that you were there for her in that moment.
Okay.
Who's the worst, Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, or Joe Biden? Who do you think?
Biden.
Yeah, you made a great case, but I'm still sticking with Biden.
Yep. We all know Brad's riding with Biden over there for
Yeah,
the
he's sticking
poll
with
of
Biden.
who's the worst.
Checking my.
You're doing a great job, Brad. Taking one for the team. I'm Anthony Fauci all the way. Looking at the poll results, almost 250 votes in today's poll. 6% said Hunter Biden. Nobody cares about him. 9% said Donald Trump. 35% agree with me, Fauci, and 50% of our listeners agree with you boys. You boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Joe Biden's the worst. Mark Reardon up next.
This is an important notice to consumers with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. You may qualify to reduce a large portion of your debt, saving you thousands of dollars. National Debt Relief has established a debt relief hotline for consumers to call and see what they qualify for at 800-713-3096. With their fast and easy approval process, National Debt Relief's award-winning team has helped over 550,000 Americans significantly reduce their debt. Consumers who qualify may only need to pay back a fraction of what they owe. National Debt Relief, the top-rated debt relief company, has earned thousands of 5-star Google reviews and has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Due to high interest rates, your debt will continue to rapidly pile up, so pick up the phone and call now to get this free information at 800-713-3096. 800-713-3096. Again, that's 800-713-3096.
If you have an IRS problem, getting accurate legal advice could help get this all behind